Hey guys. I had this idea for a while, so hope you guys like it. This is what if Naruto was Iron Man. When the 13-year-old Naruto discovers his ancestor's hidden workshop containing designs for chakra-powered Arc Reactor armor, he secretly begins building technology that will revolutionize the ninja world. This will be Naruto x Ino as usual because I like Naru Ino lol. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one and let me know in the comments if you want more story like this. Let's start. Chapter 1: The Arc of a Hero. The old Uzumaki compound had been abandoned for years, left to decay in the forgotten corners of Konohagakure. Most villagers avoided it, some out of superstition, others because the crumbling structures posed genuine danger. But for 12-year-old Naruto Uzumaki, it represented something important, a connection to a family he'd never known. The autumn wind whistled through broken windows as Naruto navigated the debris-strewn halls. He'd been coming here for weeks now, ever since he'd overheard some older ninja mention that this place had once belonged to the Uzumaki clan. The third Hokage had neither confirmed nor denied it when Naruto asked, which the boy had learned usually meant, "Yes, but I can't tell you why. There's gotta be something here," Naruto muttered, pushing aside a rotted wooden beam. "Something that'll tell me about them and me." The main house had yielded nothing but broken furniture and faded photographs too damaged to make out. But there were other buildings, storage houses, what might have been a workshop, and a strange stone structure half buried in the overgrown garden that Naruto had only noticed today. The stone building was small, barely larger than a garden shed, and covered in vines so thick they seemed to hold the structure together. Naruto pulled at the vegetation, revealing a door made of some dark metal that hadn't rusted despite obvious age. Strange symbols covered its surface, spirals and geometric patterns that made his eyes hurt if he looked too long. "Weird," Naruto said, running his fingers over the engravings. They felt warm to the touch. As his hand pressed against the largest spiral, something clicked deep within the mechanism. The door swung inward with a grinding sound, revealing stairs descending into darkness. Naruto hesitated for only a moment before his curiosity overwhelmed his caution. He'd faced the village's hatred, survived alone, and learned to find courage in the face of fear. Some dark stairs weren't going to stop him. "Here goes nothing, believe it!" The stairs were steep and numbered in the dozens, carved from the same dark stone as the building above. As Naruto descended, he noticed the walls were lined with more of those strange symbols, and they seemed to glow faintly, providing just enough light to see by. The air grew cooler but not unpleasant, and there was a strange humming sensation that he felt more than heard. At the bottom, the stairs opened into a chamber that made Naruto's jaw drop. The room was vast, far larger than should have been possible given the small structure above. The walls were lined with metal shelves containing scrolls, strange devices, and crystals that pulsed with internal light. In the center of the room stood a workbench surrounded by what looked like the skeleton of some kind of armor, its pieces laid out with precision. And everywhere, covering the walls, the floor, even hanging from the ceiling, were papers and scrolls filled with diagrams, equations, and designs that looked like nothing Naruto had ever seen in his academy classes. "What is this place?" Naruto breathed, stepping forward in wonder. He approached the nearest wall, where a large scroll was pinned open. The language was partially familiar, some of it was the standard script he'd learned in school, but much of it was intermingled with symbols he didn't recognize. Still, he could make out enough to understand fragments. Chakra conversion matrix, energy propulsion, protective barrier synthesis, flight mechanism. Flight? Naruto's eyes widened. He looked at the armor pieces with new understanding. This wasn't just a normal armor. On the workbench, he found what appeared to be a journal, its pages yellowed with age but perfectly preserved. The handwriting was precise, almost mechanical, yet somehow familiar. Naruto opened it to the first page. "Year 387 of the Sage's calendar. I, Tony Uzumaki, have reached a conclusion that some would call heresy. Chakra alone will not be enough to protect our people from the threats that gather. We have relied on our fuinjutsu, are sealing arts, but seals require time and preparation. What we need is something immediate, and something that can be worn and activated at a moment's notice. Thus, I begin Project Arc, the fusion of our sealing knowledge with ancient technologies recovered from the ruins beneath the ocean. Naruto's hands trembled as he turned the pages. Entry after entry detailed experiments, failures, and breakthroughs. This Tony Uzumaki had been trying to create something revolutionary, a way to channel chakra through technology to amplify a ninja's abilities beyond natural limits. The key lies in the Arc Reactor. One entry read, a device that can sustain a continuous chakra conversion cycle, drawing ambient energy and the user's own chakra to create a self-sustaining power source. With this, the armor's systems can operate indefinitely, limited only by the user's will and stamina. Further in, Naruto found technical diagrams that showed a glowing circular device meant to be worn on the chest. Dozens of variations were sketched out, each more refined than the last. The final design showed something elegant and powerful, a circle within a circle, with channels radiating outward like the sun. An arc reactor, Naruto whispered. He looked back at the armor pieces. In the center of the chest plate, there was an empty circular socket, clearly designed to hold such a device. For hours, Naruto pored over the journals and scrolls, piecing together Tony Uzumaki's work. The man had been a genius, combining advanced Fuinjutsu with recovered pre-Sage era technology to create something entirely new. But according to the journal's final entries, he never completed his work. The clan elders demand I cease my experiments. They fear what I'm creating. They call it unnatural, a perversion of the shinobi way. But they're fools. The world is changing, growing more dangerous. Bijou rampage, nations wage war, and we cling to tradition like drowning men to wreckage. I will hide my work, seal it away for a time when it might be needed. Perhaps when the clan has grown wiser. Perhaps when the right person discovers it, someone who understands that innovation and tradition need not be enemies. The journal ended there, with coordinates to this hidden workshop and a final note. To whoever finds this, the arc is yours to complete. May it protect you as I hoped it would protect our people. Naruto sat back, his mind reeling. This was his ancestor's work, hidden away and forgotten. And now it was his to discover, his to complete. But could he? The technical knowledge required seemed far beyond what he'd learned in the academy. The mathematics alone made his head spin. Yet, as he looked around the workshop, something stirred inside him. A feeling he'd had before when faced with impossible odds, a stubborn refusal to give up. So what if he didn't understand it all yet? He'd learn it. He'd figure it out. That was what Uzumaki way, right? They were stubborn, enduring, never giving up. Okay, Tony G. Naruto said to the empty air, a grin spreading across his face. You left this for me to find. I'm not gonna let you down, believe it. He began organizing the workspace, separating scrolls by topic. There were sections on chakra theory, metallurgy, Fuinjutsu applications, energy conversion, propulsion systems, weapons integration, and defensive barriers. It was overwhelming, but Naruto had learned something important from his years of struggle. Break big problems into small ones. First, he needed to understand the basics. Naruto grabbed the scrolls labeled Foundation Principles and settled in to read. 3 months passed. Naruto never told anyone about his discovery. During that time, he split his life into 2 worlds. In one, he was the class clown, the dead last student who couldn't perform a proper clone jutsu. In the other, he was an obsessed inventor, spending every free moment in the hidden workshop beneath the Uzumaki compound. The Foundation Principles scrolls had been a revelation. They explained chakra in ways his academy instructors never had, not as some mystical force, but as measurable energy that followed specific rules. Tony Uzumaki had approached chakra like a scientist, documenting its properties, its conversion rates, its interaction with different materials. Naruto learned that certain metals conducted chakra better than others. That geometric patterns could channel and amplify chakra flow. That crystals could store chakra energy, almost like batteries. It was all so logical, so systematic, Then Naruto wondered why more ninja didn't approach their craft this way. The answer, he realized, was tradition. Ninja trained in established techniques, passed down through generations. Innovation happens slowly, incrementally. What Tony had attempted was revolutionary, and revolutions made people uncomfortable. But Naruto had never fit into tradition anyway. Maybe that was why he connected so strongly with Tony's work. The real breakthrough came when Naruto attempted to build a miniature arc reactor. Using Tony's designs and the materials stored in the workshop, he spent 2 weeks carefully inscribing seals onto thin sheets of a strange metallic alloy. The seals were unlike any he'd seen in class, complex spirals and patterns that seemed to fold in on themselves, creating loops and circuits of chakra flow. When he finally channeled his chakra into the assembled device, nothing happened. Naruto felt his frustration building, threatening to boil over into anger. He'd followed the instructions perfectly. Why wasn't it working? Then he remembered something Tony had written. The arc responds to intent, not just energy. Will it to work, believe it will work, and the chakra will follow. Naruto closed his eyes, placed his hands on the device, and focused. He thought about what he wanted, a self-sustaining power source, something that could protect him and make him stronger. He poured not just his chakra but his desire, his determination, his refusal to give up into the device. The arc reactor blazed to life. Light erupted from the device, blue-white and brilliant, forcing Naruto to shield his eyes. When the initial flare faded, he saw it, the arc reactor spinning slowly, circuits of energy rotating within its structure, giving off a steady glow. It was working. It was actually working, Naruto laughed, a sound of pure joy echoing through the workshop. He'd done it! He'd built something incredible. The small reactor ran for 3 hours before its seals degraded and it powered down. But 3 hours was enough to prove the concept worked. Naruto had successfully recreated Tony Uzumaki's greatest invention. Now came the hard part, building the armor. The Academy final exam came during Naruto's 4th month of work on the Arc project. He'd made significant progress. A full-sized arc reactor that could sustain itself for 2 days, basic repulsor technology that could generate force blasts, and preliminary designs for the armor's frame. But the clone jutsu remained his nemesis. Naruto Uzumaki, Iruka-sensei called, his expression sympathetic. Please demonstrate the clone jutsu. Naruto performed the hand seals he'd practiced 1,000 times. Clone jutsu. A pathetic, half-formed clone sputtered into existence beside him, then collapsed into smoke. Failed, Mizuki-sensei said with barely concealed satisfaction. Naruto Uzumaki fails the graduation exam. Watching his classmates celebrate their success, Sasuke with his typical indifference, Sakura squealing with joy, even shy Hinata smiling behind her hands, Naruto felt the familiar sting of inadequacy. He'd been so focused on the Arc project that he neglected his regular training. And now he'd pay the price. That night, he sat in his workshop, staring at the incomplete armor. Maybe this had all been a waste of time. Maybe he should have focused on becoming a proper ninja instead of chasing some ancestor's abandoned dream. The betrayal by Mizuki later that evening, the revelation about the Nine Tails, the theft of the Forbidden Scroll, the fight in the forest, shook Naruto to his core. But it also brought clarity. When Mizuki had attacked Iruka-sensei, when Naruto had needed power to protect someone he cared about, the shadow clone jutsu had come to him naturally. Hundreds of clones, all solid and real. The difference? Belief. The same thing that powered the Arc Reactor. Naruto had succeeded with shadow clones because he desperately wanted to protect Iruka. He'd failed with regular clones because he was just going through the motions. The lesson crystallized in his mind: technique without purpose was hollow. But technique combined with determination, with will, with heart, that could accomplish anything. Thanks, Tony G, Naruto said to his workshop that night, now wearing his forehead protector. I think I finally get it. This armor you designed, the Arc Reactor, they're not just tools. They're extensions of will. And I've got plenty of that to spare, believe it. He looked at the armor pieces with new understanding. Tomorrow, he'd meet his genin team. He'd begin the next phase of his ninja career. But he wouldn't abandon Project Arc. Instead, he'd pursue both paths, ninja and inventor, tradition and innovation. After all, who said he had to choose? Team 7's formation brought Naruto face to face with his greatest rival and his greatest crush in the same moment. Sasuke Uchiha sat in his typical brooding silence, while Sakura Haruno shot Naruto dirty looks for daring to sit next to her beloved Sasuke-kun. But someone else caught Naruto's attention as they waited for their Jonin instructor, Ino Yamanaka, passing by their classroom with her own team, happened to glance in. Her eyes met Naruto's, and for a moment, she looked surprised to see him there. "Naruto actually graduated," she said loud enough for her team to hear. "Guess miracles do happen." It should have been an insult, but something in her tone made it sound almost impressed. Naruto grinned at her, giving a thumbs up. "Believe it! I'm gonna be the greatest ninja ever, believe it!" Ino rolled her eyes, but Naruto caught the small smile before she turned away. They'd known each other since the academy, not friends exactly, but not enemies either. Ino had a sharp tongue, but she'd never been cruel like some of the others. Sometimes she'd even shared her lunch when she'd seen him eating instant ramen alone. "Ino pig is annoying," Sakura muttered darkly. "Always trying to show off." "She seems okay to me," Naruto said, earning a glare from Sakura. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Kakashi Hatake, the infamous copy ninja. The silver-haired Jonin's late entrance, his visible boredom, and his immediate declaration that he hated them all set the tone for what would be a very interesting team dynamic. The bell test the next day proved even more challenging than Naruto expected. Kakashi was fast, skilled, and seemed to predict their every move. Naruto threw everything he had at the Jonin, shadow clones, transformation tricks, even attempting to use some of the taijutsu he'd been practicing in his workshop, but nothing worked. It was Sasuke who finally figured out the test's true purpose: teamwork. And it was Naruto who convinced Sakura to work together despite her obsession with Sasuke. When they finally coordinated their attack, sharing lunch with Sasuke despite Kakashi's prohibition, they passed. "You're all idiots," Kakashi said, his eye crinkling in what might have been a smile. "But you're my idiots now. Team 7 is officially formed." As they celebrated, Naruto felt the weight of the Arc Reactor prototype in his pocket, a miniature version he'd been testing for portability. He had a team now, people who were supposed to trust him. Should he tell them about his project? About what he was building? No, not yet. He barely understood it himself, and the armor was far from complete. Besides, Sasuke would probably call it a waste of time, and Sakura would agree with whatever Sasuke said. Better to wait until he had something concrete to show them. The decision would have consequences he couldn't foresee. The Wave Country mission changed everything. Fighting Zabuza Momochi and his apprentice Haku pushed Team 7 beyond their limits. Naruto learned the true cost of being a ninja, the reality of death, the weight of protecting others, the pain of watching someone sacrifice themselves for another's dream. But it was during the final confrontation with Gato and his thugs that something extraordinary happened. Naruto had been pushed to his limit. Kakashi was down and drained from using his Sharingan. Sasuke was recovering from his near-death experience. Sakura was protecting Tazuna. And an army of bandits was bearing down on them, led by Gato's hired ninja. In that moment, Naruto felt the Nine Tails chakra stirring, offering power he wasn't ready to control. But he also felt something else, the miniature Arc Reactor in his pocket, resonating with his desperation, responding to his need. The device activated on its own, the energy absorbed by his body. For a brief, glorious moment, Naruto felt what full integration with chakra tech could be like. His speed increased, his strikes hit harder, his chakra reserves expanded exponentially. He moved through the thugs like a force of nature, protecting his team, honoring Haku's sacrifice by choosing a different path than killing. When the fight ended and the adrenaline faded, Naruto collapsed, completely drained. The miniature reactor had burned out, its seals unable to handle the strain. But he'd experienced something incredible, a glimpse of what the complete armor could do. "Naruto," Kakashi said later, examining the burnt-out device Naruto had reluctantly shown him. "Where did you get this?" So Naruto told him. About the Uzumaki compound, the hidden workshop, Tony's journals, the Arc Reactor, his months of secret work. Everything. Kakashi listened silently, his visible eyes showing no emotion. When Naruto finished, the Jonin was quiet for a long moment. "Show me," he finally said. The next day, Naruto led Kakashi to the workshop. The Jonin's reaction was everything Naruto had hoped for, pure astonishment. Kakashi moved through the space like a scholar in a library, examining scrolls, studying diagrams, touching the armor pieces with reverent care. "This is... Naruto, do you understand what this is? What your ancestor accomplished? Some kind of super armor that uses chakra?" Naruto ventured. "More than that. This is a complete fusion of fuinjutsu and technology, something the ninja world has never successfully achieved. There have been attempts, puppetry comes close, and some experimental weapons, but nothing this comprehensive. This could change warfare, change how ninja operate fundamentally." Kakashi paused. "It could also be incredibly dangerous in the wrong hands." "So should I stop?" Naruto asked, afraid of the answer. "No," Kakashi said firmly. "This is your inheritance and your ancestors' legacy. You should complete it. But you need to be careful. And you still need proper training, both in building this and in understanding what it means to wield such power." He placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "I'll help you, but there are conditions. First, you tell no one else about this until it's ready. Second, you let me guide your development. Make sure you're not creating something that will blow up or kill you. Third, you never stop training as a traditional ninja. The armor should enhance your abilities, not replace them. Understood?" "Yes." Naruto practically bounced with excitement. "Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I won't let you down." "I know you won't. Now, let's look at these Arc Reactor designs. If we're going to build a complete one, we'll need better materials than what's stored here." Their collaboration began that day. Kakashi brought his vast knowledge of jutsu theory and his experience with various ninja technologies. Naruto brought his stubborn determination and his growing intuition for how chakra and tech could interface. Together they began to solve problems that Tony Uzumaki had struggled with decades before. The key breakthrough came when Kakashi suggested incorporating elements of the Rasengan's rotation principles into the Arc Reactor's design. The technique, created by the fourth Hokage, involved rotating chakra at high speeds in multiple directions simultaneously. When they applied similar principles to the reactor's energy flow, the efficiency increased dramatically. "Your father would be proud," Kakashi said quietly, not realizing the impact his words had. "My father?" Naruto's voice was small. Kakashi froze, realizing his slip. Then he sighed. "You deserve to know. Your father was the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. He died sealing the Nine Tails inside you to save the village. Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, a skilled kunoichi and the previous Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails." The revelation hit Naruto like a lightning bolt. Everything suddenly made sense. Why he was the Jinchuriki, why the Uzumaki compound called to him, why the third Hokage had always looked at him with such sadness. His parents were heroes who'd sacrificed everything to protect the village. They loved you, Naruto. Never doubt that. That night, Naruto worked on the Arc Reactor with renewed purpose. His father had created the Rasengan, a technique of pure chakra manipulation. His mother had been an Uzumaki, a member of the clan known for their sealing prowess. And now he was combining their legacies with Tony's vision, creating something new. Something that would make them proud. The complete Arc Reactor took shape over the next month. Unlike the miniature versions, this one was a masterwork of sealing and engineering. The core was a crystal matrix infused with Naruto's own chakra, surrounded by rings of inscribed metal that rotated independently. Seals covered every surface, managing energy flow, preventing overload, and ensuring stable operation. When they activated it for the first time, the workshop filled with blue-white light. The reactor hummed, spinning up to operational speed, and held steady. Energy readings were perfect. Chakra conversion was optimal. It was working. Congratulations, Kakashi said, his voice warm with genuine pride. You've created something remarkable. Naruto stared at the glowing device, feeling tears prick his eyes. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei, for believing in me. Always, Naruto. Now, let's build you some armor. The Chunin exams arrived, bringing with them challenges that would test more than just Naruto's combat abilities. Teams from across the ninja world gathered in Konoha, all competing for the chance to advance in rank. Team 7 entered with confidence born from their experiences in Wave Country and their growing cohesion. The first test, a written exam designed to test information gathering skills, proved interesting. While Sasuke used his Sharingan to copy answers and Sakura relied on her natural intelligence, Naruto simply sat there, refusing to cheat. He'd learned from Kakashi that sometimes the bravest choice was to trust in yourself, even when facing the unknown. When Ibiki revealed the final question and its stakes, Naruto stood without hesitation. I'm not backing down! I'll take your stupid question and become a Chunin anyway! That's my way, believe it! His defiance inspired others to stay, and they all passed. Ibiki smiled at Naruto with something like respect. You've got guts, kid! You'll need them for what comes next. The Forest of Death brought Team 7 face to face with Orochimaru, the legendary Sannin who'd gone rogue. The encounter was terrifying. Naruto had never felt such malicious intent, such casual cruelty. When Orochimaru bit Sasuke, leaving the curse seal, and then paralyzed Sakura with killing intent, Naruto felt the familiar surge of Ninetales chakra. But this time, he channeled it differently. In his workshop beneath the Uzumaki compound, hidden in a sealed container, waited the Mark I armor, the first complete prototype. It wasn't perfect and beautiful, but it was functional. Naruto had been saving it, planning to unveil it during a dramatic moment. And this moment qualifies. Using a reverse summoning seal Kakashi had taught him, Naruto brought the armor to him in a burst of smoke. The chest plate, arm and leg guards, the helmet, all crude and bulky, but covered in seals that glowed with power. At the center of the chest plate, the Arc Reactor blazed to life. Hey, Snake Team! Naruto said, his voice distorted by the helmet's speakers. How about you pick on someone who can fight back? Orochimaru's eyes widened with interest. Oh? What interesting toy have you found, boy? The fight that followed was brief but intense. The armor amplified Naruto's abilities significantly. His punches created shockwaves, his speed increased beyond what should be possible for a genin, and the repulsor beams that uses chakra that he'd integrated into the palms could blast through trees. But Orochimaru was a Sannin, one of the legendary three, and his experience far outweighed Naruto's new advantage. Still, Naruto managed something important. He bought time. Time for Sasuke to recover, for Sakura to regain her composure, for them to work together to drive Orochimaru away. The Sannin retreated, laughing, clearly intrigued by what he'd seen. You're full of surprises, Naruto Uzumaki, Orochimaru said as he vanished into the trees. I wonder what else you're hiding. When the armor powered down, Naruto collapsed from exhaustion. The suit had drained his chakra reserves almost completely, and his body ached from the strain of moving at enhanced speeds. Sasuke and Sakura gathered around him, their faces showing shock and concern. Naruto, what was that? Sakura demanded. Where did you get that armor? Long story, Naruto mumbled. I'll explain later. We need to get to the tower. But word of the armored ninja spread quickly through the Forest of Death. Other teams had seen the fight's aftermath, had witnessed Naruto in the Mark I suit. By the time Team 7 reached the tower, rumors were flying. This included reaching the ears of one Ino Yamanaka. Ino found Naruto after the preliminary matches were announced. She cornered him in a quiet hallway, her blue eyes blazing with curiosity and something else, concern. Okay, Naruto, spill, she demanded. What was with that crazy armor? Don't try to deny it, half the teams here saw you. Naruto sighed. He'd known this was coming, but he'd hoped to avoid it a bit longer. It's complicated. I've been working on a project, something my clan left behind. The armor is part of it. Your clan? Ino's expression softened slightly. The Uzumaki clan? I thought they were all gone. They are. But they left stuff behind. Some knowledge and techniques. I found some of it, and I've been learning, building. He trailed off, unsure how much to reveal. Ino studied him for a long moment, and Naruto was reminded that she was a Yamanaka. They were trained in psychology and interrogation techniques. This is a big deal, isn't it? Like, could change everything kind of big deal? Maybe, Naruto admitted. I don't really know yet. I'm still figuring it all out. To his surprise, Ino smiled, but not her usual teasing smirk, but something genuine and warm. That's actually really cool, Naruto. You're always full of surprises. She hesitated, then added, Look, I know I give you a hard time sometimes, but if you need help or just someone to talk to about it, you can come find me. Okay? Really? Naruto blinked in surprise. Why would you help me? Because we're both from Konoha, idiot. We're supposed to support each other. Ino's expression turned slightly mischievous. Plus, I'm dying of curiosity. That armor was seriously impressive. Did you really build it yourself? With some help from Kakashi-sensei. Naruto admitted. But yeah, mostly me. Amazing. Ino breathed. Then she seemed to catch herself, her cheeks coloring slightly. I mean, it's whatever. Just don't let it go to your head. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Naruto? Good luck in your match against Kiba. Show him what that Uzumaki stubbornness can do. She walked away before Naruto could respond, leaving him standing there with a confused smile on his face. Had Ino Yamanaka just been nice to him? And why did that make his heart beat faster? The preliminary matches proved brutal. Naruto's fight against Kiba and Akamaru was intense, but ultimately came down to strategy and determination. Naruto won without using the armor, relying instead on shadow clones and a well-timed transformation jutsu that turned him into Kiba's Niken. The victory felt earned, honest. Sasuke's fight against Yoroi demonstrated the curse mark's power, which was worrying. Sakura defeated Ino in a match that was more emotional than physical, two former friends clashing over their rivalry for Sasuke's affection. But Naruto noticed something during that fight. Ino held back. She could have pushed harder and won, but something stayed her hand. When they matched up the fighters for the finals, Naruto found himself scheduled against Neji Hyuga, a genius who believed in destiny and fate. The preliminary match between Neji and Hinata had been hard to watch. Seeing the shy Hyuga girl pushed beyond her limits, nearly killed by her own cousin, had ignited something angry in Naruto. Fate, huh? Naruto muttered, looking at the tournament bracket. We'll see about that. The month of training before the finals became a crucible of development. Kakashi helped Naruto refine the Mark I armor, making it lighter and more efficient. But the real breakthrough came when Jiraiya of the Sannin, Naruto's godfather, another revelation that left the boy reeling, agreed to train him. So you're Minato's kid? Jiraiya said, examining Naruto with an appraising eye. And you've inherited the Uzumaki gift for sealing, apparently. Let me see this armor of yours. Jiraiya's expertise in sealing proved invaluable. The Toad Sage understood the theoretical aspects of Tony's work in ways even Kakashi didn't. Together, they redesigned key elements of the armor, making it more responsive to Naruto's chakra, more intuitive to control. The problem, Jiraiya explained, is that you're treating the armor like a tool when it should be an extension of yourself. The seals need to interface with your chakra network, almost like a second skin. Here, let me show you. They spent weeks on integration techniques. Naruto learned to let his chakra flow into the armor naturally, to think of commands rather than manually activate systems. The Arc Reactor became like a second heartbeat, its rhythm synchronizing with his own. But Jiraiya insisted Naruto also train traditionally. The armor is impressive, but it's not everything. You need to be a complete ninja, someone who can fight with or without technology. Now let me teach you something your father created. The Rasengan training was brutal. Learning to create and maintain the sphere of rotating chakra pushed Naruto's control to its limits. But when he finally mastered it, he understood why his father had been called a genius. The Rasengan was pure chakra manipulation, technique without hand seals. It was a power born from understanding. "Now," Jiraiya said with a grin, "let's see what happens when we combine the Rasengan with your repulsor technology." The result was spectacular and terrifying. By channeling the Rasengan through the armor's palm repulsors, Naruto could fire the technique like a projectile, or enhance its striking power to devastating levels. They called it the repulsor Rasengan, and it left craters in their training ground. "Your father would be proud," Jiraiya said, clapping Naruto on the shoulder. "You're taking his technique and making it your own. That's what true ninja do." Between training sessions, Naruto found himself running into Ino more frequently. She'd seek him out to spar, or they'd end up at the same ramen stand, or she'd, coincidentally, be training in the same area. Their conversations ranged from casual to surprisingly deep. "So what made you start building this armor anyway?" Ino asked one evening, sharing a bench overlooking the village as the sun set. "I wanted to be strong," Naruto admitted. "Strong enough that people would have to acknowledge me. Strong enough to protect my precious people. Strong enough to become Hokage." "You really believe you'll be Hokage?" It wasn't mocking. Ino sounded genuinely curious. "Of course. That's my dream, believe it," Naruto declared with his usual enthusiasm. Then, more quietly, "It's how I'll make people see me as more than just a Nine-Tails container." Ino was quiet for a moment. "You know, most people only see the loud-mouthed troublemaker. But I think there's more to you than that. This armor project proves it. You're smart, Naruto. Really smart. You just hide it behind all the yelling and ramen obsession." Naruto felt his cheeks heat up. "You really think so?" "I know so." Ino smiled at him, and Naruto noticed for the first time how pretty she looked in the sunset light. "And for what it's worth, I think you'd make a good Hokage someday. You never give up, and you actually care about people. That's what matters." "Thanks, Ino," Naruto said softly. That actually means a lot." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the village lights begin to flicker on. Naruto found himself wondering when Ino had stopped being just another classmate, and had become someone whose opinion actually mattered to him. The Chunin exam finals arrived with fanfare and anticipation. The stadium was packed with spectators, including dignitaries from across the ninja world. Naruto stood in the competitor's box, wearing a modified version of his jumpsuit that concealed the interface nodes for his armor. The complete Mark II suit was stored in a scroll, ready to be summoned at a moment's notice. "Nervous?" Shikamaru asked, leaning against the railing next to him. "Nah," Naruto lied. "I'm ready for this." "Troublesome," Shikamaru muttered, but there was a hint of a smile. "Just don't do anything too crazy, okay? Some of us would like to make Chunin without the whole stadium exploding." Naruto's match against Neji was the second of the day, after Sasuke's no-show against Gaara. The Uchiha was late, as usual, leaving the crowd restless and disappointed. When Naruto's name was finally called, he descended to the arena floor to face the Hyuga prodigy. Neji stood waiting, his Byakugan already active, white eyes seeing every detail. "Naruto Uzumaki, the dead last of your class. You should forfeit now and save yourself the humiliation. Fate has already determined the outcome of this match." "Fate, huh?" Naruto cracked his knuckles, grinning. "That's funny, 'cause I don't believe in fate. I believe in hard work, determination, and never giving up. That's my ninja way." "Foolish words from a fool," Neji said coldly. "The Hyuga clan understands what you refuse to accept. People cannot change their destiny. The weak remain weak. The strong remain strong. You were born a failure, and you will die a failure. We'll see about that." Naruto charged forward, opening with a barrage of shadow clones. The fight started conventionally enough. Naruto used his clones to probe Neji's defenses while the Hyuga genius countered with his gentle fist style, shutting down chakra points with precision strikes. To the audience, It looked like a standard genin match, impressive, but within expected parameters. Then Neji managed to strike Naruto's chakra points, supposedly sealing his ability to mold chakra. "It's over," Neji declared. "Without chakra, you're nothing." Naruto grinned, pulling out his summoning scroll. "You know what's funny about technology, Neji? It doesn't care about chakra points." Author's note: I'm writing this fight while listening to the song I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan LOL. He activated the scroll. The Mark II armor materialized around him in segments, legs first, then torso, arms, and finally the helmet. Unlike the bulky Mark I, the Mark II was sleek and streamlined, painted in orange and black to match Naruto's color scheme. The Arc Reactor glowed brilliantly at the center of his chest, and seals covering the armor's surface pulsed with power. The stadium erupted in shocked murmurs. In the Kage box, Hiruzen Sarutobi leaned forward with interest while the Kazekage, actually Orochimaru in disguise, though none knew it yet, tensed visibly. "What is that?" Neji demanded, his composure cracking slightly. "This," Naruto said, his voice amplified by the helmet speakers, "is the Arc Reactor armor. My ancestor's legacy and my future. And it's about to teach you that destiny is just an excuse for people who are afraid to change." Naruto moved, and the world blurred. The armor's enhanced speed using the repulsors carried him forward faster than Niji's Byakugan could track. A repulsor-enhanced punch sent the Hyuga genius flying backward, crashing into the arena wall. Neji recovered quickly, his Byakugan showing him the armor's weakness, the joints, the seals, the connection points. He came at Naruto with gentle fist strikes aimed at these vulnerable spots, trying to disrupt the seal work. But Naruto had anticipated this. The armor's seals were redundant, overlapping, designed to compensate for damage. And with the Arc Reactor providing constant power, Naruto's sealed chakra points were irrelevant. The armor drew energy directly from the reactor, not his chakra network. Rotation! Neji spun in his ultimate defense, creating a sphere of chakra that deflected all attacks. Naruto responded by channeling the Rasengan through his repulsor, combining his father's technique with Takeshi's technology. The repulsor Rasengan blazed to life in his armored palm, a sphere of rotating energy enhanced by technological amplification. When the two techniques collided, rotation against repulsor Rasengan, the resulting explosion of chakra rocked the stadium. Dust and debris filled the arena. When it cleared, both fighters were standing, but Neji was bleeding, his rotation broken, while Naruto's armor showed scorch marks but remained functional. "Impossible," Neji breathed. "The main house techniques, they should be absolute." "Nothing's absolute," Naruto shouted. "You think you can't change because you were born into the branch house? That's bull. Hinata didn't believe in fate, and she almost beat you. I don't believe in fate, and I'm standing here proving you wrong. So stop making excuses and fight me with everything you've got." Something in Naruto's words, or maybe the sheer determination behind them, seemed to reach Neji. The Hyuga's expression shifted from cold superiority to something more complex. Anger, yes, but also doubt? "You know nothing," Neji said, but his voice lacked conviction. "You don't understand what it means to be caged by destiny." "You're right, I don't understand," Naruto admitted, deactivating his helmet so Neji could see his face. "But I know what it's like to be told you're nothing, that you'll always be nothing. The whole village saw me as a monster, as the nine tails that attacked them. They wanted me to be what they feared. But I refused. I decided I'd become someone they'd have to acknowledge, someone who'd protect them even though they hated me. That's not fate, Neji. That's choice." For a moment, Neji seemed frozen, processing Naruto's words. Then, with visible effort, he dropped into a fighting stance. "Then show me. Show me that choice can overcome destiny." The final exchange was spectacular. Neji pushed his Byakugan to its limits, seeing the armor's energy flows, predicting Naruto's movements. But Naruto used everything he'd learned, shadow clones as distractions, strategic use of the repulsors to change direction mid-flight, and finally, a point-blank Rasengan to Neji's chest that the Hyuga barely managed to deflect. When the dust settled, both fighters collapsed from exhaustion. But Naruto staggered back to his feet first, the armor's support systems helping him stand. Neji remained down, conscious but unable to continue. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, the proctor declared. The stadium erupted in cheers and shocked exclamations. Naruto offered his hand to Neji, who stared at it for a long moment before accepting the help up. You were right, Neji said quietly, so only Naruto could hear. I was making excuses. Thank you for showing me that. As Naruto left the arena, he caught sight of Ino in the stands, cheering louder than anyone else, her face flushed with excitement. Their eyes met, and she gave him a brilliant smile and a thumbs up. Naruto felt his heart skip a beat in a way that had nothing to do with the fight's exertion. The invasion began during Sasuke's match against Gaara. Orochimaru's plan unfolded with devastating efficiency. Sound Ninja placed the crowd under Genjutsu. Sand and sound forces attacked the village from multiple fronts, and the disguised Kazekage revealed himself, taking the third Hokage hostage and erecting a barrier for their private battle. Naruto, along with Sakura, Shikamaru, and a dog named Pakken, pursued Sasuke, who was chasing the fleeing Gaara. The mission was supposed to be simple: stop Sasuke from doing something stupid and help him if needed. But when they encountered Gaara's siblings and the Jinchuriki's complete transformation into Shikaku, the One-Tail, simplicity went out the window. Sasuke's in trouble, Pakken reported. Gaara's lost control. If we don't do something, both he and Sasuke are dead. Then let's do something. Naruto summoned his armor, the Mark II materializing around him in a flash of seals and light. You guys handle the siblings. I'm going after Gaara. Flying through the forest using the armor's propulsion systems felt simultaneously exhilarating and terrifying. Naruto pushed the suit to its limits, weaving between trees at speeds that would have been impossible for a normal genin. Ahead, he could see the massive form of Shikaku, partially manifested, with Gaara's body visible in the forehead. Sasuke was pinned beneath rubble, his Chidori exhausted, cursing his weakness. When Naruto arrived in a blur of orange and black armor, landing between the Uchiha and the rampaging Biju, Sasuke's eyes widened in shock. Naruto? Yo, Sasuke! Just relax, I've got this. Naruto faced Shikaku, his repulsors charging with energy. Hey, Gaara! I know what it's like, having a monster inside you. But you don't have to let it control you. Gaara's eyes, visible within Shikaku's form, focused on Naruto with manic intensity. You're like me? Another Jinchuriki? Yeah, I've got the 9 tails sealed inside me. Naruto admitted. The villagers hated me for it, feared me, called me a monster. But you know what? They were wrong. The Biju doesn't define us, we define ourselves. Lies! Gaara screamed. I am the weapon of Suna. I exist only to kill. That is my purpose. That's not purpose, that's prison. Naruto shouted back. You're scared and alone, so you hurt others to feel strong. But that's not real strength. Real strength is protecting people you care about, making bonds, having people who believe in you. Shikaku roared, launching a devastating wind bullet that tore through the forest. Naruto's armor shields activated, forming a barrier of chakra-enhanced energy that barely withstood the attack. The force sent him skidding backward, his armor's structural integrity dropping to dangerous levels. I need more power, Naruto muttered, feeling the Nine Tails chakra stirring within him. The beast's malevolent presence pressed against his consciousness, offering strength in exchange for control. Then he remembered something Jiraiya had said during training. The seal your father created isn't just about containment. It's also about partnership. The Nine Tails is part of you now, whether either of you like it. Maybe instead of fighting each other, you should try working together. It was crazy. The Nine Tails hated him and wanted him dead. But Naruto had built his entire philosophy on believing in impossible things. Hey, furball, Naruto thought, directing his consciousness inward. I know you hate being sealed. I know you want out. But right now, there's a kid who's suffering like I did, and I need to save him. Help me, and I promise I'll work on making this seal less of a prison and more of a partnership. Deal? For a moment, there was only silence. Then, grudgingly, a wave of red chakra flooded through Naruto's system. But unlike the wild, uncontrolled surges he'd experienced before, this felt almost cooperative. The Nine Tails wasn't taking over, it was lending strength. The Arc Reactor blazed brighter as Nine Tails chakra flooded into it. The armor's systems, designed to channel and amplify chakra, suddenly had access to a reservoir of power that dwarfed anything Naruto could produce naturally. The suit's orange coloring intensified to a brilliant red-orange, and additional chakra plating manifested around the base armor, forming a hybrid of technology and pure Bija energy. "Whoa!" Naruto breathed. "Now we're talking!" He launched himself at Shikaku with renewed speed. The Bija swung a massive arm, but Naruto dodged, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to predict and counter the attack. He fired repulsor beams enhanced with Nine Tails chakra, each blast powerful enough to blast craters in the ground. But physical attacks weren't enough to stop a Bijuu. Naruto needed to reach Gaara, to wake him from the sleep that allowed Shikaku full control. That meant getting close, getting to the forehead where Gaara's body was embedded. "Okay, here's the plan," Naruto told himself. "Multiple shadow clones, all in armor, all attacking from different angles. While Shikaku's distracted, I go for Gaara. Simple, right?" It was not simple. Creating shadow clones while wearing the armor drained enormous amounts of chakra, even with the Nine Tails' help. But Naruto managed to produce 5 armored copies, each one as real and functional as the original. The clones attacked from all sides, keeping Shikaku off balance while the real Naruto climbed up the Bijuu's body toward Gaara. "Naruto Uzumaki!" Gaara screamed when he realized what was happening. "Why? Why do you fight for others? Why do you care?" "Because that's what makes us human!" Naruto shouted, reaching Gaara's position. He deactivated his helmet, letting Gaara see his face, his determination. "You're not a weapon, Gaara! You're a person! Someone who deserves to be loved, to have friends, to be acknowledged." He threw a punch that was not enhanced by repulsors or Nine Tails chakra. It was just a simple, human punch that connected with Gaara's face. The physical pain was nothing compared to the emotional impact. Tears streamed down Gaara's face as something inside him, something that had been locked away beneath pain and loneliness, began to crack open. I don't understand," Gaara whispered. "You will," Naruto promised. "You'll find people who accept you. You'll make bonds. You'll discover your real purpose. Just give it a chance, okay?" Shikaku's manifestation began to fade as Gaara's control reasserted itself. The massive form dissolved into sand, lowering them gently to the ground. When Gaara's siblings, Temari and Kankuro, arrived to retrieve him, they found Gaara unconscious but stable, with Naruto standing guard despite his armor being almost completely depleted of power. "Take care of him," Naruto told them. "He's had it rough, but he can change. Everyone can change." Temari looked at Naruto with a mixture of respect and confusion. "You beat him, then protect him? What kind of ninja are you?" "The annoying kind," Sasuke said, limping up with Sakura supporting him. "The annoying kind who never gives up." Despite the insult, Naruto caught the hint of respect in Sasuke's voice. They'd fought together, survived together, and maybe, just maybe, they were becoming actual teammates instead of just rivals. The celebration was short-lived. News reached them of the third Hokage's death during his battle with Orochimaru. The legendary Sandaime had sealed the Sanin's arms, preventing him from using jutsu, but had paid with his life. The village mourned its leader, the professor who had guided them through multiple wars. Naruto stood at the funeral, armor stowed away, wearing formal blacks alongside his fellow genin. He thought about the old man who'd always treated him with kindness, who'd checked in on him, who'd given him the Hokage title to aspire to. The third had seen Naruto not as the Nine Tails, but as the legacy of the fourth Hokage and his beloved student's son. "I'll become Hokage," Naruto promised quietly. "I'll protect this village, make it stronger and make it better. That's my promise, old man. Believe it." Ino found him after the ceremony, her eyes red from crying. Without a word, she hugged him, and Naruto hugged her back, both of them taking comfort in the presence of someone who understood loss. They'd both grown up in this village, both loved it despite its flaws, and both were determined to protect it. "We'll get stronger," Ino said softly. "All of us. So this never happens again." "Yeah," Naruto agreed. Together. The aftermath of the invasion brought changes to Konoha. With the third Hokage dead and the village in crisis, the council moved to find a successor. The obvious choice, Jiraiya of the Sannin, refused, instead suggesting they recall another legendary ninja, Tsunade Senju, the last of the Senju clan and the greatest medical ninja alive. Jiraiya set out to find her, and Naruto insisted on coming along. After what had happened with the invasion, after seeing the third die protecting the village, Naruto was desperate to become stronger, to ensure he could protect his precious people. Besides, Naruto told Jiraiya as they prepared to leave, "You said she knew my parents, right? I want to hear about them." "Fair enough, brat. But I'm warning you, Tsunade's got a temper that makes most jonin look peaceful. And she's a gambling addict who's in serious debt. Finding her might be easier than convincing her to come back." Before leaving, Naruto spent an evening with Ino. They'd been growing closer since the finals, and spending more time together, and the impending journey felt like a bigger separation than it should have. "How long will you be gone?" Ino asked, sitting with him on the Hokage monument, overlooking the village as the sun set. "However long it takes," Naruto said. "Jiraiya thinks it'll be a few weeks, maybe a month. We have to find Tsunade and convince her to come back, and maybe do some training along the way." "Training with one of the Sannin," Ino said, impressed despite herself. "That's pretty amazing, Naruto. You're really moving up in the world." "Yeah, well, I've got big goals." Naruto grinned. "Can't become Hokage if I'm not strong enough to protect the village." Ino was quiet for a moment, then said, "Naruto, can I ask you something? About the armor, about everything you're building. What's the end goal? Like, where do you see all this going?" It was a good question, one Naruto had been thinking about a lot lately. "I want to change how ninja work," he said slowly. "Right now, if you're not born with a Kekkei Genkai or into a clan with special techniques, you're at a disadvantage. But what if that didn't matter? What if anyone could access advanced abilities through technology? The armor is just the start. I'm thinking about other applications, medical devices, defensive systems for the village, tools that could help ninja who've been injured." "You want to democratize power," Ino realized. "Make it so natural talent isn't the only thing that matters." "Exactly." Naruto was excited that she understood. "Everyone should have the chance to be strong, to protect what they care about. The armor is my way of proving it's possible." Ino smiled, but there was something sad in her expression. "You know people are going to resist that, right? The clans, the traditionalists, they're not going to like the idea of their special techniques becoming obsolete." "Let them resist," Naruto said with typical stubbornness. "Change is scary, but it's necessary. The ninja world is evolving whether they like it or not. Better to guide that evolution than get left behind. And that's why you'll be Hokage someday," Ino said softly. She stood, brushing off her skirt. "Come back safe, okay? And when you do, maybe we could, I don't know, get dinner or something? Just the two of us?" Naruto's brain short-circuited for a moment. Was Ino asking him on a date? Yeah? Definitely. That sounds great." Ino laughed at his flustered response, then did something that left Naruto completely speechless. She leaned in and kissed his cheek. "For luck," she said, her own cheeks pink. "Now go find Tsunade and bring her home." She left before Naruto could respond, leaving him standing there with his hand on his cheek, a goofy smile spreading across his face. Suddenly, the mission to find Tsunade had an additional motivation. The sooner they succeeded, the sooner he could get back for that dinner. Finding Tsunade proved as difficult as Jiraiya had warned. The Senju princess was drowning her sorrows in sake and gambling, running from a past filled with loss. Her younger brother and her lover had both died in service to Konoha, and she'd lost faith in the village and the ideals it represented. When Naruto finally confronted her in a bar, loudly declaring his intention to become Hokage, she laughed in his face. Hokage? You! Don't make me laugh, brat. The Hokage title is a fool's dream. Everyone who's worn that hat has died for it. And for what? A village that will just forget them and move on? You're wrong! Naruto shouted. The Hokages who died are remembered. They're honored. And they protected the people they loved. That's what makes the title meaningful. Naive child. Tsunade sneered. You know nothing of loss, of watching everyone you care about die. I know plenty about loss. Naruto shot back. My parents died protecting me. The third Hokage just died protecting the village. I've been alone my whole life. But you know what? That doesn't mean I give up. That doesn't mean I stop believing in what they stood for. The argument escalated until Tsunade made him an offer, master the Rasengan in 1 week, and she'd acknowledge him. Fail, and he'd have to give up on being Hokage. Naruto accepted immediately, despite Jiraiya's protests that the technique had taken the fourth Hokage years to develop. But Naruto had an advantage his father hadn't: the Arc Reactor armor and Shadow Clone training method. For the next week, Naruto pushed himself beyond his limits. He created hundreds of Shadow Clones, each one working on a different aspect of the Rasengan, while he refined the armor's integration with the technique. The Mark III armor design was taking shape in his mind, sleeker and more efficient, with enhanced chakra conversion specifically designed to support the Rasengan. But the breakthrough came when Naruto realized he was thinking about the problem wrong. He'd been trying to use the armor to create the Rasengan, when instead he should be using his understanding of the Rasengan to improve the armor. The rotating chakra principles that made the technique work could be applied to the Arc Reactor's energy flow, creating a more stable and powerful core. It's all connected, Naruto realized during the 5th day of training. Dad's technique, Takashi's technology, even the Nine-Tails chakra, they all follow the same principles. Rotation, containment, controlled release. I've been building separate systems when I should be integrating everything into one unified design. The revelation led to a breakthrough in both the Rasengan and the armor. By the end of the week, Naruto could form a stable Rasengan in 3 seconds, and his new Arc Reactor design was 40% more efficient than the previous version. Tsunade was shocked when Naruto demonstrated his mastery, creating a Rasengan that not only matched her expectations but exceeded them by incorporating repulsor technology to increase its destructive potential. Impressive, she admitted grudgingly. You actually did it, brat. But before Tsunade could honor her agreement, Orochimaru appeared with an offer of his own: heal his arms, and he'd resurrect her dead brother and lover using Edo Tensei, the forbidden jutsu that could raise the dead. The temptation was visible on Tsunade's face. Naruto watched her struggle, understanding her pain but knowing what she had to choose. When Tsunade ultimately refused Orochimaru and stood with Jiraiya and Naruto against the Sannin and his assistant Kabuto, Naruto knew she'd made her decision: to honor the dead by protecting the living. The battle was intense. Orochimaru, even without hand seals, was incredibly dangerous. Kabuto's medical ninjutsu and combat abilities made him a formidable opponent. Jiraiya and Tsunade fought at Sannin level, their techniques devastating the landscape. Naruto, wearing the Mark III armor prototype he'd been assembling during the week, focused on supporting his allies and countering Kabuto. The medic Nin was surprised to find his chakra scalpel techniques ineffective against the armor's plating, and his attempts to disrupt Naruto's chakra points were useless against the self-contained Arc Reactor system. What kind of ninja fights in armor like some kind of samurai? Kabuto demanded, frustrated. The kind who thinks outside the box. Naruto fired repulsor beams that forced Kabuto to dodge, setting him up for Tsunade's devastating punch that shattered the ground beneath the medic Nin's feet. The fight's climax came when Naruto, his chakra nearly depleted, made a desperate decision. He synchronized the Arc Reactor directly with the Nine-Tails seal, creating a temporary bridge that allowed both his chakra and the bijus to flow through the armor's systems simultaneously. The risk was enormous. Too much power could overload the armor's seals and kill him. But the alternative was letting Orochimaru and Kabuto escape to threaten the village another day. The Mark III blazed with red-orange light as Ninetales' chakra flooded its systems. Naruto felt the fox's power merge with the armor's technology, creating something unprecedented, a perfect fusion of Bija might and human innovation. Repulsor Rasengan, Ninetales mode! Naruto formed the technique in his palm, the swirling sphere now surrounded by crackling red chakra and technological energy. He fired it at Kabuto like a missile, the enhanced technique moving too fast for the medic Nin to dodge. The explosion carved a trench through the battlefield. When the smoke cleared, Kabuto was down, unconscious and badly injured. Orochimaru, seeing his assistant defeated and facing two Sannin plus an increasingly dangerous Jinchuriki, made the wise decision to retreat. "We'll meet again, Naruto Uzumaki," the snake Sannin hissed as he vanished. "You're becoming quite interesting." As the adrenaline faded, Naruto's armor powered down, and he collapsed from chakra exhaustion. But he was smiling. They'd won. Tsunade had chosen to return to Konoha, to take up the Hokage title and honor those who died protecting the village. "You're something else, brat," Tsunade said, using her medical ninjutsu to check Naruto for injuries. "Reckless, stubborn, and way too powerful for a genin. You remind me of my little brother Nawaki. He wanted to be Hokage too. Then I'll do it for both of us," Naruto said sleepily, exhaustion catching up with him. "I'll become a Hokage that makes everyone proud, Databayo." He passed out, dreaming of Konoha, of his friends, and of a certain blonde kunoichi who was waiting for him to come home. Naruto's return to Konoha was triumphant. He'd helped convince Tsunade to return, had improved his abilities significantly, and had advanced his armor to new heights. The Mark III was a masterpiece, sleek, powerful, and capable of channeling both his own chakra and the Ninetales' energy with unprecedented efficiency. Ino was waiting at the village gates with several other friends. When she saw Naruto, her face lit up with genuine joy. "You actually did it! You brought back Tsunade! Told you I would!" Naruto grinned, then remembered their conversation before he'd left. "So, about that dinner? Tomorrow night," Ino said immediately. "Yakiniku Place on Main Street. 7 o'clock. Don't be late, Uzumaki." "I wouldn't dare!" Their first official date was simultaneously wonderful and awkward. Naruto had never been on a date before, and his social skills left something to be desired. He talked too loud, ordered too much food, and nearly started a food fight with his chopsticks. But Ino found his enthusiasm endearing rather than annoying, and she laughed more than she had in months. "You know," Ino said as they walked through the village after dinner, "I never thought we'd end up here. When we were in the academy, I'd barely notice you except as the class troublemaker." "Yeah, I remember," Naruto said, trying not to sound bitter. "You were always with Sakura, competing over Sasuke." Ino winced. "That was stupid. Sakura and I threw away our friendship over a boy who barely acknowledged either of us. But you know what changed my mind about you? The Chunin exams. Watching you fight Niji, hearing what you said about choosing your own path instead of accepting fate, that was when I realized there was way more to you than the loudmouth persona." "Really?" Naruto felt warmth spread through his chest that had nothing to do with chakra. "Really?" Ino confirmed. Then, more quietly, "And then the invasion happened, and I saw you protecting the village, fighting that monster. I kept thinking, that's Naruto out there, risking everything. It scared me, how much I worried about you." They'd reached the Hokage monument, the usual spot for talking. The moon was full, casting silver light across the stone faces of previous Hokages. "I'm going to be up there someday," Naruto said, pointing at the monuments. "5th or 6th Hokage, doesn't matter which. I'll prove that anyone can become great if they work hard enough and never give up." "I believe you," Ino said. "And when you do, I want to be there to see it." She took his hand, intertwining their fingers. If you want me to be there, that is." Naruto looked at their joined hands, then at Ino's face, nervous but hopeful. Of course I want you there. You're important to me, Ino. Really important. Good. Ino smiled, then leaned in and kissed him, not on the cheek this time, but properly. It was brief, sweet, and left Naruto's head spinning. Wow! He breathed when they separated. Wow indeed! Ino agreed, laughing at his dazed expression. Come on, I should get home before my dad sends the whole Yamanaka clan looking for me. As Naruto walked Ino home, he reflected on how much his life had changed. A year ago, he'd been alone, hated, with no friends and no prospects. Now he had a team, a mentor, a path forward with his armor project, and someone who saw him, really saw him, beyond the Nine Tails, beyond the class clown, and liked what she found. Life was good. And it was about to get even more interesting. The next 2 years passed in a blur of training, missions, and development. Tsunade took Naruto under her wing, teaching him medical ninjutsu basics that proved invaluable for understanding human biology and chakra systems. This knowledge allowed him to refine the armor's interface with the human body, making it more intuitive and less taxing on the wearer. Jiraiya continued training Naruto in traditional ninja arts, ensuring the boy didn't become overly reliant on technology. They worked on taijutsu, strategic thinking, and infiltration techniques. Jiraiya also helped Naruto improve his relationship with the Nine Tails, teaching him meditation techniques that allowed for actual conversation with the Bija rather than just forceful extraction of power. The Nine Tails isn't just a power source, Jiraiya explained during one training session. It's a living being with its own thoughts and feelings. The better your relationship with it, the more effectively you can work together. Naruto took this advice to heart. During his meditations, he'd visit the Seal Space, a massive sewer-like chamber with a cage holding the Nine Tails. Instead of demanding power, Naruto would talk about his day, his goals, his frustrations with the armor's development. At first, the Nine Tails ignored him. Then it started responding with insults. Eventually, grudgingly, it began actually conversing. "You persistent brat," the Nine Tails rumbled one day. "Like a mosquito that won't stop buzzing." "Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. It wasn't meant as one." But Naruto could swear he detected amusement in the Bija's voice. The armor development progressed through multiple iterations. Mark IV featured improved flight capabilities and energy efficiency. Mark V introduced modular components that could be swapped based on mission requirements. Mark VI integrated advanced sensor arrays that enhanced Naruto's awareness beyond even what the Sharingan could provide. But the real breakthrough came with the Mark VII, the Sage model. During his training with Jiraiya, Naruto had been introduced to Sage Mode, a technique that required gathering natural energy and balancing it with physical and spiritual energy. It was incredibly difficult, requiring perfect stillness and concentration. For someone as hyperactive as Naruto, it seemed impossible. Until he realized the Arc Reactor could help. "The reactor already balances and converts energy," Naruto explained excitedly to Jiraiya. "What if we modified it to not just process chakra, but natural energy too? It could gather ambient natural energy automatically and balance it with my chakra in real time." "That's..." Jiraiya paused, considering. "That's actually brilliant. But also incredibly dangerous. Natural energy is wild, unpredictable. If the balancing fails, you could turn to stone." "Then we make sure the balancing doesn't fail," Naruto said with confidence. "We'll add redundant systems, safety protocols, emergency shutdowns. Same way the armor protects me from physical damage, it'll protect me from natural energy corruption." The project took 6 months of intense work. Naruto collaborated not just with Jiraiya, but with some of Konoha's finest seal masters and engineers. The existence of the armor was becoming more widely known within the village, and while some traditionalists grumbled, many saw its potential. Tsunade particularly understood the value. "If this technology could be adapted for medical use," she mused, examining Naruto's designs, "we could revolutionize battlefield medicine." automated chakra scalpels, diagnostic systems that don't require a medical ninja present. That's the idea, Naruto said. The armor is just the beginning. I want to create a whole new field, chakra technology, or chakra tech for short. Tools that enhance what ninja can do, that protect people, that make the world safer. His relationship with Ino deepened during this period. They were officially a couple now, though they kept it relatively quiet to avoid gossip. Ino proved to be one of Naruto's most valuable supporters, offering feedback on his designs from a non-technical perspective. You're so focused on what the armor can do, she pointed out one evening, reviewing his Mark 7 designs, that you're forgetting about what the user experiences. Look here, all these readouts and displays. It's information overload. You need to simplify the interface, make it intuitive. She was right, of course. Naruto had been approaching the armor from an engineer's perspective, not a user's. With Ino's help, he redesigned the interface to be cleaner and more responsive, with heads-up displays that showed only relevant information based on context. You're really good at this, Naruto told her. Have you ever thought about working with me on the project officially? Ino blushed. I'm not an engineer, Naruto. I'm a mind specialist ninja. Exactly. You understand how people think and how they process information. That's perfect for designing user interfaces and making sure the tech actually helps people instead of just overwhelming them. Naruto took her hands. Besides, I like working with you. We make a good team. We do, don't we? Ino smiled, then kissed him softly. Okay, I'm in. But I have conditions. First, you actually listen to my feedback instead of just nodding and doing whatever you want anyway. I'd do that. Naruto protested. Naruto, I told you the Mark V's color scheme was too garish, and you made it even brighter orange. Fair point. What else? Second, we keep regular work hours. No more all-nighters that leave you too exhausted for missions. And third, she grinned mischievously, you take me on an actual nice date, not just ramen stands and training grounds. Something more romantic. Deal. Naruto agreed immediately. Oh, but the orange color scheme stays. That's non-negotiable. Ino laughed. I expected nothing less. Their collaboration proved incredibly productive. With Ino handling interface design and user experience, Naruto could focus on the technical aspects. The Mark 7 came together beautifully, a sleek suit that could automatically gather and balance natural energy, effectively giving Naruto permanent access to enhanced strength, speed, and sensory abilities without the usual drawbacks of Sage Mode. The first test was nerve-wracking. Naruto activated the suit in a controlled environment, with Jiraiya, Tsunade, and a full medical team standing by in case something went wrong. The Arc Reactor hummed to life, and Naruto felt natural energy beginning to flow into the system. The sensation was unlike anything he'd experienced before. When normal Sage Mode felt like standing in a rushing river, trying to maintain balance against the current, this was like having the river channeled through perfectly designed aqueducts. The energy flowed smoothly, balanced automatically by the Arc Reactor systems, and integrated seamlessly with his own chakra. How do you feel? Tsunade called out. Naruto opened his eyes, and everyone gasped. Around his eyes, the traditional pigmentation of Sage Mode had appeared, but instead of the orange-red bars of Toad Sage Mode, his marks were geometric patterns that echoed the Arc Reactor's design, glowing faintly with blue-white light. I feel amazing, Naruto said, his voice filled with awe. Like I'm connected to everything around me. I can sense every person in the village, every chakra signature, even the natural energy flowing through the earth. He looked at his hands, watching chakra and natural energy swirl around them in perfect harmony. This is incredible. Your chakra levels have increased exponentially, Tsunade reported, checking her instruments. And they're stable, no signs of natural energy corruption. Naruto, you've actually done it. You've created a sustainable Sage Mode system. Jiraiya clapped Naruto on the shoulder, pride evident in his expression. Your parents would be so proud, kid. You've taken your father's genius for jutsu creation and your mother's Uzumaki sealing prowess and created something entirely new. You're not just following in their footsteps, you're walking your own path. The celebration was interrupted by an urgent summons from Tsunade's office. When they arrived, they found an ANBU messenger waiting with grave news. Sasuke Uchiha had defected from the village, accepting Orochimaru's offer of power in his quest for revenge against his brother. He left last night with 4 of the Sound 4, the ANBU reported. A retrieval team has already been dispatched, Shikamaru Nara leading, with Choji Akimichi, Kiba Inuzuka, and Niji Hyuga. Only 4? Naruto was already moving toward the door. That's not enough. Sasuke's strong, and if he's with Orochimaru's elite guard, which is why you're going as backup, Tsunade said firmly. Take the armor. I'm authorizing full combat protocols. Bring Sasuke back, Naruto. By force if necessary. Naruto nodded, his expression grim. I'll bring him home. That's a promise. Ino caught him before he left, pulling him aside. Be careful, she said quietly. Sasuke's made his choice, and he's not going to come back easily. Don't get yourself killed trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. I have to try, Naruto said. He's my teammate and my friend. I can't just give up on him. I know. That's one of the things I love about you. Ino hugged him tightly. Just come back to me, okay? Promise? Promise, Naruto said, returning the embrace. Then, more softly, did you just say you love me? Ino pulled back, her cheeks pink but her expression determined. Yes. I love you, Naruto Uzumaki. Your stupid, stubborn determination, your impossible dreams, your ridiculous orange armor, all of it. So you'd better come back so I can tell you that properly when you're not rushing off to save an idiot Uchiha. Naruto felt his heart swell. I love you too, Ino. And I'll be back before you know it. Believe it! He kissed her quickly, then summoned the Mark 7 armor. The suit materialized around him in segments, each piece locking into place with precision. The Arc Reactor blazed to life, immediately beginning to gather natural energy. Within seconds, Naruto was fully suited and ready for flight. Jarvis online, spoke a synthesized voice. The AI system Naruto had been developing to help manage the armor's increasingly complex functions. He named it after one of Takashi Uzumaki's assistants mentioned in the journals. Full power, Jarvis. Plot the fastest course to intercept Shikamaru's team. Course plotted. Estimated arrival, 18 minutes at current speed. Naruto launched into the air, repulsors blazing as he rocketed toward his friends. The Mark VI's enhanced sensors tracked multiple chakra signatures ahead. Shikamaru's team, spread out and engaged in combat. They were in trouble. Hang on, guys, Naruto muttered. I'm coming. The battlefield was chaos when Naruto arrived. Shikamaru's team had been split up, each member engaging one of the Sound 4 in isolated combat. Choji was down, having used the dangerous 3-colored pills to enhance his strength beyond safe limits. Niji was fighting Kidamaru, the Spider-Nin, and was clearly struggling against the long-range attacks. Kiba was battling Sakan and Yukon, the two-headed twins, and Akamaru was injured. And Shikamaru was facing Tayuya, trapped in her genjutsu and under assault from her summoned demons. Jarvis, tactical analysis. Prioritize targets based on who's in the most immediate danger. Analysis complete. Choji Akimichi requires immediate medical attention. Niji Hyuga is at 40% combat effectiveness and declining. Kiba Inuzuka is holding but will be overwhelmed within 5 minutes. Shikamaru Nara is trapped but stable for now. Right. We save Choji first, then work our way through. Naruto dove toward Choji's location, landing with enough force to crack the ground. The Sound 4 member who defeated Choji, Jirobo, the Earth user, turned in surprise. What the, another Konoha Nin? In some kind of armor? Jirobo sneered. Doesn't matter. I'll crush you like I crushed Fatty over there. His name is Choji, Naruto said coldly. And you're about to regret touching my friend. Jirobo charged, his earth-enhanced strength allowing him to punch with devastating force. But Naruto, in the Mark 7 with Sage Mode enhancement, was faster. He sidestepped the punch, countered with a repulsor-enhanced strike to Jirobo's midsection, and followed up with a Rasengan to the face. The battle lasted less than 30 seconds. Jirobo was unconscious before he hit the ground. Jarvis, deploy medical nanomachines. Stabilized Choji's condition. A panel in the armor's forearm opened, releasing a swarm of microscopic medical devices, another innovation Naruto had developed with Tsunade's help. The nanomachines swarmed over Choji's body, immediately working to stabilize his chakra, repair cellular damage, and counteract the three-colored pill's toxic effects. Stabilization in progress. Patient will survive but requires further medical treatment within 6 hours. Good enough. Marking this location for medical retrieval. Naruto created a shadow clone to stay with Choji, then launched toward Niji's position. He arrived to find the Hyuga genius pinned down by chakra-infused webs, unable to move while Kadamura prepared a killing shot with his bow. Niji! Duck! Niji didn't question, he dropped flat. Naruto's repulsor beam obliterated Kadamura's bow and sent the spider neon flying backward. Before Kadamura could recover, Naruto was on him, moving at speeds the Sound 4 member couldn't track. You think your armor makes you strong? Kadamura spat, regenerating his bow and firing multiple arrows. I'll pin you down like the others. The arrows bounced harmlessly off the Mark VI's shields. Naruto didn't even slow down. My armor doesn't make me strong, Naruto said, catching Kadamura by the throat and lifting him off the ground. It just lets me use my strength more effectively. There's a difference. A repulsor-enhanced punch to the head ended Kadamura's involvement in the battle. Naruto freed Niji from the webs, using the armor's tools to dissolve the chakra-infused silk. You okay? I will be, Niji said, activating his Byakugan to assess the damage. Thank you, Naruto. That armor of yours, it's even more impressive than at the Chunin exams. Mark 7, with integrated Sage Mode, Naruto explained quickly. Come on, we need to help the others. They reached Kiba next, finding him and Akamaru badly wounded but still fighting. The twins Sakan and Yukon were toying with them, using their ability to merge and separate at will to confuse and overwhelm. 2 targets sharing one body, Jarvis reported. Recommend area effect attack. Naruto grinned beneath his helmet. Perfect. Hey, Kiba! Get clear! Kiba, recognizing Naruto's voice despite the distortion, immediately retreated with Akamaru. The twins laughed. Running away? Smart! But you can't, repulsor barrage! Naruto's palms lit up with dozens of smaller repulsor emitters, each one firing in rapid succession. The attack saturated the area, making it impossible to dodge. Sakan and Yukon were hit dozens of times, their shared body unable to withstand the concentrated assault. Freaks are down, Kiba reported, limping over with Akamaru. Man, Naruto, that armor is seriously cool. Can you make me one? Maybe someday, Naruto said, grinning. Right now, we need to get to Shikamaru. Niji, can you carry Kiba and Akamaru back to where Choji is? My clone will protect you all. Understood. Niji helped Kiba onto his back despite his own injuries. Be careful, Naruto. These Sound 4 were strong, but Sasuke will be even more dangerous. Orochimaru's curse seal has made him powerful. I know. But I'm bringing him home anyway. That's my way. Naruto flew toward Shikamaru's position, finding his friend trapped in Taiya's genjutsu barrier, surrounded by summoned demons. The female Sound 4 member noticed Naruto's approach and sneered. Another one? Fine, my beauties will tear you apart just like they're about to do to Shadow Boy. Jarvis, genjutsu countermeasures. Deploying. Note: armor's mechanical systems provide significant resistance to genjutsu, as they do not have a chakra network to target. One advantage of the armor, genjutsu, which manipulated a victim's chakra flow to create illusions, was far less effective against someone whose primary sensory input came from technological sensors rather than biological senses. Naruto blasted through Tayuya's demons with repulsive fire, then shattered her genjutsu barrier with a concentrated pulse of natural energy. The feedback sent Tayuya reeling. Impossible. How did you, shadow possession jutsu? Shikamaru, freed from the genjutsu, caught Tayuya with his technique. About time someone showed up. I had everything under control, of course, but the timing was getting troublesome. Sure you did, Naruto said, amused despite the situation. Can you handle her? Yeah. Go after Sasuke. He's not far ahead, and he's with that freaky bone user, Kimimaro. Naruto. Shikamaru's expression turned serious. Sasuke's different now. The curse seal has changed him. He might not be the teammate we remember. He's still Sasuke, Naruto said firmly. And I'm still bringing him home. Naruto left Shikamaru to deal with Tayuya and rocketed forward, his sensors tracking Sasuke's chakra signature. The Uchiha was close now, moving through the valley ahead. But there was another signature with him, massive, malevolent, and eerily calm. Kimimaro. The last of the Kagaya clan, Orochimaru's former container candidate, and by all accounts, one of the most dangerous ninja alive. This is going to be tough, Naruto muttered. Probability of successful combat engagement, 63%. Jarvis reported. Recommendation: prioritize extraction of Sasuke Uchiha over direct confrontation with Kimimaro. Noted. But if Kimimaro won't let me take Sasuke, I'll go through him. Naruto found them in a rocky valley. Sasuke was unconscious, sealed in a barrel being carried by Kimimaro. The bone user sensed Naruto's approach and set the barrel down carefully before turning to face the armored ninja. Another Konoha nin, Kimimaro said, his voice devoid of emotion. You're persistent. But it ends here. Sasuke-kun is important to Lord Orochimaru. I won't allow you to interfere. That Sasuke-kun is my teammate and my friend, Naruto said, landing and powering up his systems. And I'm taking him home, even if I have to go through you to do it. So be it. Kimimaro moved with speed that surprised even Naruto's enhanced sensors. Bones erupted from the man's body, swords, spears, shields, all harder than steel and wielded with perfect technique. The dance of the clematis, flower technique created a massive bone drill that Kimimaro used like a lance, aiming to pierce through Naruto's armor. The Mark VII shields took the impact, but Naruto felt the strain. Kimimaro's attacks were phenomenally powerful, each strike pushing the armor's defensive capabilities to their limits. Jarvis, analyze his fighting style. Find a weakness. Analysis in progress. Note: opponent's bone structure is denser than steel but shows microscopic fractures. Hypothesis: prolonged combat may compromise structural integrity. So I need to outlast him. Good thing I've got the Arc Reactor. Naruto engaged in close combat, using the armor's enhanced strength and speed to match Kimimaro's taijutsu. They traded blows at speeds that left craters in the ground, their battle tearing up the landscape. Naruto used repulsor blasts to keep Kimimaro off balance, but the bone user adapted quickly, using his skeletal defenses to absorb or deflect the energy attacks. You're strong, Kimimaro admitted, his expression still eerily calm. But strength alone won't let you win. I fight for Lord Orochimaru's dream. What do you fight for? I fight for my friends, Naruto shouted, firing a massive repulsor beam. For the people who believe in me. For the village that's finally starting to accept me. And for Sasuke, who's lost his way but isn't too far gone to save. The beam caught Kimimaro full force, sending him crashing through several rock formations. When the dust cleared, the bone user was standing but clearly damaged. Blood dripped from his mouth, and his movements had slowed slightly. Impressive, Kimimaro said. But insufficient. Dance of the seedling fern. The entire valley erupted with bone spikes, hundreds of them shooting up from the ground in a forest of deadly calcium. Naruto took to the air, dodging the spikes with repulsor-powered flight, but Kimimaro used the bone forest to his advantage, emerging from unexpected angles to attack. Warning: energy reserves at 47%, Jarvis reported. Recommend ending combat within 10 minutes. Naruto knew he needed to finish this quickly. He gathered natural energy through the Arc Reactor, channeling it into a technique he'd been developing, a fusion of the Rasengan, repulsor technology, and Sage mode enhancement. Sage Art, repulsor Rasengan. The technique formed in his palm, a massive sphere of rotating energy that combined chakra, natural energy, and technological amplification. It was easily 3 times larger than his normal Rasengan and glowed with intense blue-white light. Kimimaro saw it coming and created his ultimate defense, a dome of bone that should have been impenetrable. But Naruto's enhanced Rasengan wasn't a normal attack. The rotating energy didn't just impact the dome, it drilled through it, the combination of physical rotation and energy disruption breaking down even Kimimaro's hardest bones. The technique struck Kimimaro directly, and the resulting explosion carved a crater 50 feet wide. When Naruto landed, he found Kimimaro lying in the center of the crater, his body broken but still breathing. "I lost?" Kimimaro seemed genuinely surprised. "But I was supposed to be Lord Orochimaru's vessel, supposed to fulfill his dream." "You can still have a dream," Naruto said, kneeling beside the dying man. The sensors showed Kimimaro's life signs failing. Whatever disease had plagued him was finally claiming its due. "Just make it your own dream, not someone else's." "Too late for that," Kimimaro said, a sad smile crossing his face. "But perhaps you're right. Lord Orochimaru's dream isn't mine. I just wanted to be needed and to have purpose. Everyone deserves that," Naruto said softly. "I'm sorry it couldn't have been different." "So am I," Kimimaro breathed, his eyes closing for the last time. Naruto stood, feeling the weight of the victory. He'd won, but it didn't feel triumphant. Kimimaro had been a tool, used by Orochimaru and discarded. In another life, under different circumstances, maybe he could have been saved. But there was no time for reflection. Naruto retrieved the barrel containing Sasuke and prepared to return to Konoha. But as he picked it up, the barrel exploded outward, and Sasuke emerged, awake, curse seal activated, and radiating hostile intent. "Naruto," Sasuke said, his voice distorted by the cursed seal's influence. "I should have known you'd come after me." "Sasuke! Thank God you're okay. Come on, we need to get back to the village. Everyone's worried about you." "I'm not going back," Sasuke said flatly. His Sharingan spun, already evolved to 3 Tomo. "Konoha makes me weak. Orochimaru can give me the power I need to kill Itachi." "Power isn't everything, Sasuke. And revenge won't bring your clan back. What would you know about it?" Sasuke snarled. "You have no family, no clan to avenge. The Nine Tails killed your parents. Your pain is nothing compared to mine." The words stung, but Naruto pushed through. "You're right, my family is gone, but I have people who care about me now. Team 7, Iruka-sensei, the old man before he died, Kakashi-sensei, and you idiot. You're like a brother to me. I'm not letting you throw your life away for revenge. Then you'll have to stop me by force." Sasuke dropped into a combat stance, electricity crackling around his hand. "Chidori." Naruto's heart broke as he realized there was no talking Sasuke down. His friend had made his choice, and Naruto would have to respect it enough to fight him seriously. "Fine," Naruto said, his voice heavy. "But I'm still bringing you home, even if I have to drag you unconscious." Their battle lit up the valley. Sasuke's Chidori clashed with Naruto's Rasengan, the collision of techniques creating explosions that echoed for miles. Sasuke was fast, his Sharingan predicting Naruto's movements, but the Mark VI's speed and power gave Naruto an edge. "You've gotten stronger," Sasuke admitted, dodging a repulsive blast. "But so have I. This curse seal gives me power beyond what you can imagine." Black marks spread across Sasuke's body as he activated the seal's second stage. His chakra doubled, his speed increased dramatically, and dark wings erupted from his back. "Impressive," Jarvis commented. "However, the curse seal is consuming his chakra at an unsustainable rate. Estimate, He can maintain this form for approximately 7 minutes before collapse. So I just need to outlast him. Naruto muttered. But 7 minutes was a long time in ninja combat. Sasuke came at him with everything: Chidori enhanced by the cursed seal, fire-style jutsu amplified to devastating levels, taijutsu that pushed even the Mark VI's capabilities. The Uchiha was fighting like a man possessed, driven by his need for power and his rejection of everything Konoha represented. Why won't you understand? Naruto shouted, blocking a strike that left cracks in his armor. Revenge won't make you happy. It won't bring peace. It'll just leave you empty. I don't care about happiness, Sasuke roared. I care about justice. Making Itachi pay for what he did. Then what? Naruto demanded. After you kill Itachi, what then? Will you just die satisfied? Will your clan be proud of what you've become? For a moment, just a moment, Sasuke hesitated. But then his expression hardened again. That's not your concern. Now move aside, or I'll go through you. Sasuke formed his most powerful Chidori yet, the technique crackling black with curse seal energy. Naruto responded by forming his most powerful Rasengan, channeling both his own chakra and the Nine Tails' power through the Arc Reactor. They charged at each other, and when the techniques collided, the resulting explosion was catastrophic. A shockwave radiated outward, flattening trees and cracking the earth. Energy swirled in chaotic patterns, and for a brief moment, both fighters were locked in place, either giving ground. Sasuke, Naruto said, his voice strained but determined. You're my friend. My rival. My brother in everything but blood. I'm not giving up on you. Not now, not ever. Then you're a fool, Sasuke said, but his voice cracked slightly. You can't save everyone, Naruto. Watch me. Naruto poured everything into the Rasengan, his chakra, the Nine Tails' power, natural energy from Sage Mode, and the Arc Reactor's amplification. The technique blazed brighter than the sun, overwhelming Sasuke's Chidori and striking the Uchiha directly. Sasuke was thrown backward, his curse seal receding, his consciousness fading. As he fell, his final words were barely audible. You're still an idiot, Naruto. Naruto caught him before he hit the ground, holding his unconscious teammate. Yeah, I am. But I'm an idiot who doesn't abandon his friends. The return to Konoha was bittersweet. Naruto had succeeded in stopping Sasuke's defection, but the victory came with heavy costs. Choji remained in critical condition despite the nanomachine's intervention. Neji and Kiba were badly injured. And Sasuke, even unconscious, radiated resentment and anger. Tsunade met them at the gates, immediately taking charge of the medical situation. Get these boys to the hospital, now! Naruto, your armor, I know, it's pretty banged up, Naruto said, looking at the cracked plating and damaged systems. But it held together when it mattered. I was going to say it's impressive, Tsunade corrected. You brought them all back alive. That's what matters. Ino was waiting in the hospital when Naruto emerged from his debriefing with Tsunade and the council. She didn't say anything, just pulled him into a fierce hug that Naruto returned gratefully. You kept your promise, she said softly. You came back. Always will, Naruto promised. But Ino, about Sasuke. He's under ANBU guard in the hospital, Ino reported. Tsunade-sama has him in a medically induced coma while they figure out what to do about the cursed seal. Some council members want him executed for treason. Others want him imprisoned. And what do you think? Naruto asked. Ino was quiet for a moment. I think he made a choice, and that choice has consequences. But I also think he deserves a chance to make better choices if he'll take it. That's what you believe, right? Yeah, Naruto said. Everyone deserves a second chance. Even if they screw up the first one really badly. Then fight for that, Ino said firmly. You're a hero now, Naruto. The village knows what you did, defeating the Sound Four, saving your teammates, stopping Sasuke. People are listening to you in ways they never did before. Use that influence. She was right. Over the next few weeks, As Naruto recovered and repaired the Mark VII armor, he became increasingly aware of his changing status in the village. People who'd once avoided him now greeted him on the street. Merchants offered him discounts. Children asked to see his armor. The shift was disorienting but welcome. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt truly accepted by Konoha. He used this newfound respect to advocate for Sasuke. In meetings with Tsunade and the council, Naruto argued passionately for rehabilitation over punishment. He's been manipulated by Orochimaru, twisted by his grief and anger. If we give up on him now, we're proving he was right to leave. But if we show him that the village still cares, that we still believe in him, maybe that'll be enough to bring him back for real. The arguments were heated, but eventually, a compromise was reached. Sasuke would remain under house arrest in the Uchiha compound, with ANBU's supervision and regular psychological evaluation. He'd be given a chance to prove his loyalty to the village, but any further betrayal would result in immediate execution. It wasn't perfect, but it was a chance. And that was all Naruto had asked for. When Sasuke finally woke from his induced coma, his first visitor was Naruto. "You actually brought me back," Sasuke said, his voice flat. "Why?" "Because you're my friend," Naruto said simply. "And because I know there's more to you than this revenge obsession. You're better than this, Sasuke." "You don't know what I am," Sasuke said bitterly. But there was something in his eyes, a flicker of doubt, of possibility. "Then show me," Naruto challenged. "Prove that you're more than Itachi's little brother seeking revenge. Prove that Sasuke Uchiha can be his own person with his own goals. The village is giving you a second chance. Don't waste it." Sasuke didn't respond, but Naruto saw him considering the words. It wasn't acceptance, not yet. But it was the first crack in the armor of anger and resentment. And cracks could become openings. It was a start. The years that followed were transformative, not just for Naruto but for the entire shinobi world. Word of the Iron Ninja and his revolutionary armor spread across nations. Some viewed the technology with fear, others with fascination. The 5 great nations sent diplomatic missions to Konoha, seeking to understand, and potentially acquire, this new form of warfare. Tsunade handled the political aspects carefully. "We can't monopolize this technology forever," she told Naruto during one strategy session. "But we also can't let it fall into the wrong hands. We need to control how it's distributed, ensure it's used responsibly." This led to the founding of the Uzumaki Industries, an organization dedicated to researching and developing chakra technology for peaceful and defensive purposes. Naruto served as its director, with Ino as his chief of operations and user experience. They recruited scientists, engineers, and sealing experts from across the ninja world, creating a collaborative environment that transcended national boundaries. "The organization isn't about making Konoha stronger," Naruto explained at its inaugural ceremony. "It's about making everyone safer. We're developing medical devices, communication systems, defensive barriers, technology that protects people. That's the future I want to build." The first major project was the medical support system, armor-inspired devices that could be worn by field medics to enhance their healing abilities. The system used scaled-down arc reactors to amplify medical ninjutsu, extend the range of chakra scalpels, and provide real-time diagnostic information. Tsunade herself tested the prototype and declared it revolutionary. "With this, even Genin-level medical ninja can perform Chunin-level healing," she said, impressed. "We could save countless lives." The second project was more controversial, the barrier network. Using principles from the Arc Reactor and distributed sealing techniques, Naruto designed a system that could create village-wide defensive barriers at a moment's notice. The system wouldn't require constant ninja attention, it would activate automatically in response to large-scale threats. Some traditionalists balked at the idea. "We've always relied on ninja to maintain our defenses," argued one elder. "Making them automatic removes the human element. The human element can get tired, make mistakes, be killed," Naruto countered. "The barrier network is a backup, not a replacement. Ninja will still be essential, but they won't have to die just to raise a wall. The project moved forward, though with significant oversight from the Council. Naruto's personal armor development continued as well. The Mark X featured miniaturization technology that allowed the entire suit to be stored in a compact wrist device. The Mark 12 incorporated weapon systems that Naruto had been reluctant to develop but that Tsunade insisted were necessary. Precise, non-lethal options for subduing opponents without killing them. You can't always talk your way out of fights, Tsunade said bluntly. Sometimes you need to put someone down hard and fast. Better to have the option and not use it than need it and not have it. But the most significant development was the Mark 15, the Bijou interface model. Naruto's relationship with the Ninetales had evolved considerably over the years. Through constant meditation, conversation, and mutual respect, they'd reached an understanding. The Ninetales, whose name Naruto learned was Kurama, was no longer just a prisoner within a seal. It was a partner, an ally, and dare Naruto say it, a friend. You're still an annoying brat, Kurama grumbled during one of their mental conversations. But you're my annoying brat. Ah, Kurama! That's the sweetest thing you've ever said to me. Don't push it, Kit. The Mark 15 was designed to fully integrate with Kurama's chakra, creating a hybrid form that combined the Bijou's raw power with the armor's technological precision. The result was staggering, a golden-orange suit that radiated power, with 9 energy tails extending from the back and the ability to access Kurama's full strength without the usual risks of Bijou transformation. The first test nearly destroyed the training ground. Okay, maybe we need to dial back the power output, Naruto said, surveying the crater that used to be Training Ground 7. You think? Ino called from the observation bunker. Naruto, that was amazing and terrifying in equal measure. The energy readings were off the charts. The system is stable, Jarvis reported. However, full power operation depletes the Arc Reactor at 3 times normal rate. Recommend limiting Bijou interface mode to critical situations. Over time, Naruto and Ino's relationship deepened into something profound and enduring. They moved in together, combining Ino's practical approach to life with Naruto's chaotic energy. Their apartment became a blend of engineering diagrams, flower arrangements, mission reports, and prototype devices. How do you live like this? Ino asked one evening, surveying the organized chaos of their living room. What? It's organized, Naruto protested. All the Mark 12 components are on the left, the ceiling scrolls are in the middle, and the ramen cups. Okay, I should probably clean up the ramen cups. Ino laughed, kissing his cheek. You're hopeless. But you're my hopeless genius, so I suppose I'll keep you. Their engagement came during a mission to Snow Country, now Spring Country, after Naruto had helped Princess Koyuki rebuild the nation using chakra tech infrastructure. Standing in a field of cherry blossoms, with the setting sun painting the sky orange and gold, Naruto got down on one knee. Ino Yamanaka, you've been my partner, my supporter, my conscience when I get too caught up in my work. You believed in me when others didn't. You've made me better, stronger, and happier than I ever thought possible. Will you marry me? Ino, tears streaming down her face, nodded vigorously. Yes. Of course, yes. The wedding was a major event in Konoha. It seemed like the entire village turned out to celebrate, a testament to how far Naruto had come from the lonely orphan nobody wanted around. Even Sasuke attended, having gradually rebuilt trust with the village over the years. The Uchiha was still distant, still working through his trauma, but he managed a small smile when congratulating Naruto. You did good, Dobe, Sasuke said. Don't screw it up. That's the plan, team! Naruto grinned. Kakashi, now a Jonin commander and one of Tsunade's most trusted advisors, officiated the ceremony. I've watched both of you grow from stubborn genin into remarkable ninja and even more remarkable people. Naruto, Ino, may your marriage be as strong as Naruto's armor and as beautiful as Ino's flowers. The reception featured performances from friends, embarrassing stories from Jiraiya, and a surprise appearance by Gaara, now Kazekage of Sunagakure, who presented a gift of rare desert crystals that could enhance chakra tech systems. You changed my life, Naruto, Gaara said quietly during a private moment. You showed me that being a Jinchuriki didn't have to mean being alone. This gift is a small token of the gratitude I'll always feel toward you. As the evening wound down and Naruto and Ino prepared to leave for their honeymoon, Tsunade pulled Naruto aside. There's something you should know, she said, her expression serious. We've been receiving intelligence reports about an organization called the Akatsuki. They're collecting information on all the Jinchuriki. Naruto, they're going to come after you eventually. The news wasn't entirely surprising. Naruto had heard whispers about the Akatsuki, a group of S-rank missing nin pursuing some mysterious goal. If they were targeting Jinchuriki, conflict was inevitable. How long do we have? Naruto asked. Unknown. Could be months, could be years. But they're methodical, organized, and incredibly dangerous. When they come, we'll need to be ready. Then we get ready, Naruto said firmly. The organization will develop countermeasures. We'll improve our defenses. And if they want Kurama, they'll have to go through me in the most advanced combat armor in existence. That's what I was hoping you'd say. Tsunade smiled. Now go. Your wife is waiting, and she's giving me a look that suggests I'm about to lose a limb if I keep you much longer. Naruto laughed. Yeah, Ino's scary when she wants to be. She'd have to be to keep up with you. Now get out of here, and congratulations, Naruto. You've earned this happiness. The honeymoon in Wave Country was peaceful, a welcome respite from the constant demands of the Foundation and village duties. Naruto and Ino spent their days exploring, their evenings talking about the future, and their nights simply being together without the weight of the world on their shoulders. What do you think our kids will be like? Ino asked one evening, lying in Naruto's arms as they watched the sunset over the ocean. Kids? Naruto squeaked. We're already talking about kids? Not right away, idiot. Ino laughed. But eventually. I mean, I assume you want children? Yeah. Naruto admitted, his voice soft. I want to give them the childhood I never had. Love, support, parents who are actually there for them. And I want to teach them about the armor, about chakra tech, about how they can be anything they want to be regardless of where they came from. They'll be lucky to have you as a father, Ino said, kissing him gently. And I'll do my best to keep them from inheriting your terrible fashion sense. Hey! Orange is a great color. For traffic cones, maybe? They returned to Konoha refreshed and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But neither of them expected those challenges to arrive quite so soon. 3 months after the wedding, the Akatsuki made their first move. The attack came without warning. 2 members of the Akatsuki, Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki, entered Konoha brazenly, making no attempt at stealth. Their goal was clear: capture the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto was at the Foundation headquarters when the alarm sounded. Jarvis immediately pulled up security feeds showing the 2 intruders. Identification confirmed: Itachi Uchiha, former ANBU of Konohagakure, responsible for the Uchiha massacre. Kisame Hashigaki, former member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist. Threat level catastrophic. Evacuate the Foundation staff, Naruto ordered, already summoning the Mark 15. Get everyone to the safe zones. Ino, already on it, Ino said, coordinating the evacuation through her headset. Naruto, be careful. Itachi is Sasuke's brother. This is going to be complicated. I know. But I'm not letting them take Kurama. Not now, not ever. The Mark 15 materialized around him, the golden-orange armor gleaming with power. Unlike his earlier models, this one felt like a second skin, responding to his thoughts as smoothly as his own body. Kurama's chakra flowed through the system, ready to be deployed at a moment's notice. Naruto launched through the Foundation's emergency exit, rocketing toward the reported location of the intruders. He found them in the market district, calmly walking through the panicking civilians as if they owned the place. Itachi saw him coming and stopped, his Sharingan already activated. Kisame grinned, hefting his massive sword Samahata. So this is the Nine-Tails container, Kisame said, eyeing the armor with interest. Interesting fashion choice. Does it come in blue? Get the civilians clear, Naruto said into his comms. I'm engaging. He didn't wait for confirmation. Repulsor fire lanced toward the two Akatsuki members, forcing them to scatter. Kisame blocked with Samahata, and the blade seemed to absorb the energy, its scales rippling with pleasure. Oh, I like this one. Kisame laughed. So much chakra to eat. Kisame, don't waste time, Itachi said calmly. We're here for the Nine Tails. Everything else is secondary. Can't a guy have a little fun first? The battle that followed was unlike anything Naruto had experienced before. Kisame was a monster in combat, his chakra reserve seemingly endless and his sword capable of absorbing most energy-based attacks. Itachi was worse. His Sharingan saw through Naruto's movements, and his Genjutsu kept trying to trap Naruto in illusions. But the armor provided protection against the Genjutsu, its mechanical systems less susceptible to chakra-based illusions. And Naruto had learned from fighting Kimimaro. He was patient, methodical, waiting for openings rather than rushing in. Kurama, I'm going to need your help, Naruto thought. Finally, the Bijou rumbled. I was wondering when you'd stop playing around. These Akatsuki fools need to learn respect. Naruto activated the Bijou interface fully. The armor blazed with golden light as 9 chakra tails materialized behind him, each one a swirling construct of energy and technology. His power level spiked dramatically, and even Itachi's Sharingan widened slightly in surprise. So the Nine Tails has learned to play nice with its container, Kisame observed. This is going to be more interesting than I thought. The tide of battle shifted. With Kurama's full power at his disposal, Naruto matched Kisame's seemingly endless chakra. His speed increased to the point where even Itachi's Sharingan struggled to track him. And when Itachi tried to use Tsukuyomi, his ultimate genjutsu that could torture victims for days in a split second, the armor's systems detected the attack and deployed countermeasures, breaking the genjutsu before it could fully form. Impossible, Itachi said, the first sign of emotion crossing his usually impassive face. The Tsukuyomi cannot be broken by normal means. Who said anything about normal? Naruto retorted, firing a barrage of Bijou-enhanced repulsor blasts. I told you, I'm not going anywhere with you. But before the fight could reach its conclusion, reinforcements arrived. Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai appeared in a whirl of leaves, immediately engaging the Akatsuki members. Guy arrived moments later, his usual enthusiasm somewhat dampened by the seriousness of the situation. Naruto! Fall back! Kakashi ordered. Let us handle this. But that's an order! Reluctantly, Naruto complied, pulling back to the perimeter while his former sensei and the other Jonin engaged. The fight was brutal. Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan unleashed black flames that burned anything they touched. Kisame's water jutsu flooded the street, and his sword grew larger with each absorbed attack. Itachi caught Kakashi in a genjutsu, but Guy broke it with his chakra disruption technique. Asuma and Kurenai worked together to pin down Kisame, but the shark-like ninja seemed to thrive in combat, his grin never fading. Then Sasuke arrived. The Uchiha had been in the village, his house arrest having been gradually relaxed as he proved his loyalty. But seeing his brother, the man who'd murdered their entire clan, standing in the middle of Konoha seemed to break something in him. Itachi! Sasuke's voice was raw with rage and pain. You dare show your face here? Foolish little brother, Itachi said, his voice devoid of warmth. You're still weak. You haven't gained the power you seek. I'll show you power! Sasuke charged forward, his Chidori blazing. Sasuke, wait! Naruto moved to intercept, but he was too slow. Sasuke's attack met Itachi's counter, and the younger Uchiha was sent flying backward, crashing into a building. Itachi looked at his fallen brother with something that might have been contempt. Or sadness. With Itachi, it was impossible to tell. We're leaving, Itachi said to Kisame. The Jinchuriki is too well protected today. We'll try again when the circumstances are more favorable. Ah, and I was having so much fun. Kisame complained, but he followed Itachi's lead, and both Akatsuki members vanished in a whirl of crows before anyone could stop them. The aftermath was tense. Sasuke had reopened old wounds, both literal and figurative. Kakashi was exhausted from fighting Itachi, and the village was shaken by how easily the two intruders had penetrated their defenses. "This is a problem," Tsunade said during the emergency council meeting. "The Akatsuki are more powerful than our intelligence suggested. If they're all on this level, and they're targeting all the Jinchuriki, we need to warn the other villages." "Already composing the messages," Shikamaru said, now a Chunin and serving as one of Tsunade's strategic advisors. "But we should expect that some villages won't take the threat seriously. They'll think they can handle it on their own. Then we make them understand," Naruto said firmly. "I'll go myself if I have to. The Akatsuki aren't just targeting me, they're after Gaara, Killer Bee, and all the other Jinchuriki. We need to work together." "Agreed," Tsunade said. "Naruto, I'm assigning you as our ambassador for this initiative. Use your connections with Gaara and your reputation with the Foundation to convince the other villages that cooperation is necessary." Thus began a new chapter, not just of combat and development, but of diplomacy and alliance building. Naruto traveled to each of the great nations, demonstrating his armor, sharing limited, technical information about chakra-tech defensive systems, and warning them about the Akatsuki threat. Some leaders were receptive. Gaara, now a respected Kazekage, immediately pledged Suna's cooperation. The Raikage of Kumogakure was skeptical but agreed to increase security around Killer Bee. The Mizukage, impressed by Naruto's technology, requested a formal partnership with the Foundation. But the Tsuchikage, old and set in his ways, rejected the warnings. "We've survived this long without newfangled technology," he said dismissively. "We'll handle any threats as they come." "That kind of thinking gets people killed," Naruto said bluntly. "The Akatsuki aren't like anything you've faced before. They're organized, powerful, and they won't stop until they have what they want. Then we'll stop them when they come," the Tsuchikage said. Meeting dismissed. Naruto left Iwagakure frustrated but not surprised. Traditional thinking died hard, especially among the older generation. But he planted seeds, made connections, and established lines of communication. When the Akatsuki finally made their larger move, the nations would at least be aware of the threat. The real breakthrough came during a meeting of the 5 Kages, called to address the growing Akatsuki menace. For the first time in decades, the leaders of all 5 great nations gathered in a neutral location to discuss cooperation. Naruto attended as Tsunade's advisor, wearing a formal version of his armor, sleeker, less intimidating, designed for diplomacy rather than combat. His presence caused a stir, but it also commanded respect. The Iron Ninja was known across the nations now, and his foundation's work had saved lives in multiple countries. "The Akatsuki are collecting bijou," Tsunade explained to the gathered Kages. "We don't know their ultimate goal, but we know they're dangerous enough to potentially destabilize the entire ninja world. We need a coordinated defense strategy." The discussions were heated, with old grudges and territorial disputes threatening to derail cooperation. But Naruto, speaking from his position as both Jinchuriki and ambassador, managed to find common ground. "I know our nations have fought each other," he said. "I know there's bad blood, old wounds that haven't healed. But the Akatsuki don't care about our feuds. They're going to attack the Jinchuriki regardless of which village we're from. So we can either work together and maybe survive, or stay divided and definitely fall. It's that simple." Gaara stood, supporting Naruto's position. "Naruto-kun is right. When I was consumed by Shikaku's madness, it was Naruto who saved me. Not as an enemy, but as a fellow Jinchuriki who understood my pain. If we Jinchuriki can overcome our differences, surely our nations can do the same." The tide began to turn. One by one, the Kages agreed to share intelligence, coordinate defenses, and provide mutual support when the Akatsuki struck. It wasn't perfect unity, there was still distrust, still political maneuvering, but it was a start. As the meeting concluded and the Kages prepared to return to their villages, the Raikage approached Naruto. That armor of yours, he said. Could it protect against Akatsuki attacks? It's protected me so far, Naruto said. Why? I want you to train with my brother Killer Bee. He's the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, and he could benefit from learning about your technology and your relationship with your Bijou. In exchange, he'll teach you advanced Jinchuriki techniques. It was an opportunity Naruto couldn't refuse. Training with another Jinchuriki, especially one as skilled as Killer Bee, would help him better understand and utilize Kurama's power. And it would strengthen the bonds between Konoha and Kumo, which was always valuable. I accept, Naruto said. When do we start? Next month. Come to Kumobikure and prepare to be amazed. My brother is unique. That was an understatement. Killer Bee was unlike anyone Naruto had ever met, a skilled ninja who rapped constantly, had perfect control of his bijou, and approached combat like a performance art. Their training was intense, educational, and occasionally hilarious. Yo, Naruto, listen up, I got a tale to tell. About a fox and octopus who learned to gel. Be rapped while demonstrating a technique that partially transformed his arm into one of the Eight Tails' tentacles. Does he always do that? Naruto asked Kurama mentally. Every single day. Gyuki, the Eight Tails, responded, You have no idea what I've endured. Despite B's eccentric personality, he was an exceptional teacher. He showed Naruto techniques for fine-tuning bijou transformations, maintaining control under extreme stress, and even how to communicate with other bijou through the connection all tailed beasts shared. The Akatsuki want to collect all 9 bijou, he explained during a break in training. But they don't understand what we are. We're not just weapons or power sources. We're beings with our own wills, our own bonds. That's something they can never truly control. So how do we use that against them? Naruto asked. By being united. The bijou, the Jinchuriki, if we work together, we're stronger than any individual Akatsuki member. Maybe even stronger than all of them combined. B grinned. But we'll need your tech and our tricks, fool! Together we'll make those Akatsuki drool! The training lasted 3 months, and when Naruto returned to Konoha, he was noticeably stronger. His control over Kurama's chakra had refined to the point where he could access it as easily as his own. The Mark 15 armor had been upgraded based on B's feedback, now featuring enhanced sensory capabilities and improved energy distribution. More importantly, Naruto had gained an ally. When the Akatsuki finally made their major move, B would be ready to fight alongside him. That move came sooner than expected. The assault on Sunagakure was devastating. 2 Akatsuki members, Deidara and Sasori, attacked the village with overwhelming force. Their target was Gaara, the One-Tails Jinchuriki and the Kazekage. Despite his guard's best efforts, despite Gaara's own considerable power, the Akatsuki succeeded. They extracted Gaara from the village and fled. The distress call reached Konoha within hours. Naruto was in the Foundation headquarters when the message came through, and he felt his blood run cold. They took Gaara, he said, his voice hollow. They actually took him, then we go after him, Ino said immediately. She'd been working on communication systems, but she immediately shut down her workstation. We're not letting them kill Gaara. Assemble Team 7 and Team Guy. Tsunade ordered, her expression grim. This is a Priority 1 rescue mission. Naruto, take the Mark 15 and whatever additional equipment you think you'll need. This is going to be a fight. Within the hour, 2 teams were racing towards Sunagakure. Team Guy took the lead, their speed and endurance allowing them to maintain a punishing pace. Team 7 followed, with Naruto in full armor providing aerial reconnaissance. They found Gaara's extraction team, the Akatsuki members Deidara and Sasori, in a cave system near the border of Wind Country. The Akatsuki were already performing the extraction ritual, using a massive statue to draw the one-tail from Gaara's body. We need to stop that ritual, Kakashi said, analyzing the situation. But those 2 won't just let us walk in. Then we fight our way in, Naruto said, his voice hard. I'm not letting Gaara die. The battle was chaos from the start. Deidara's explosive clay and aerial combat style made him difficult to pin down. Sasori's puppet mastery and poison made close combat deadly. Team Guy engaged Kisame, who'd arrived as backup, while Team 7 focused on reaching Gaara. Naruto, in the Mark 15 with full Bijou interface active, fought Deidara in an aerial duel that lit up the sky. The Akatsuki members' art-based explosions were powerful, but Naruto's armor shields and repulsors gave him an edge. Your technology is impressive, Deidara admitted, riding his clay bird. But art is an explosion. And my explosions are the ultimate art. Art should create things, not destroy them. Naruto countered, firing a concentrated repulsor beam that obliterated one of Deidara's clay creations before it could detonate. Meanwhile, Sakura and Chio, an elderly puppet master from Suna who joined the rescue, engaged Sasori. The battle was technical and deadly, with Sakura's monstrous strength and medical knowledge countering Sasori's 100 puppets and potent poisons. But time was running out. The extraction ritual was nearly complete, and Gaara's life force was fading. Kurama, I need everything you've got, Naruto said. I need to end this now. Then let's remind these fools why Bijou are feared, Kurama growled. Naruto channeled the full power of the Nine Tails through the Mark 15. The armor blazed like a miniature sun, 9 tails of pure energy extending behind him, each one capable of devastating attacks. He became a beacon of golden-orange light, visible for miles. Final warning, Deidara, Naruto said, his voice resonating with both his own and Kurama's tones. Leave now, or I'll make sure your art ends here. Deidara, for the first time, looked uncertain. He'd faced powerful ninja before, but the combination of Bijou power and advanced technology was something new. Something terrifying. This isn't over, Nine Tails, Deidara said, retreating on his clay bird. We'll collect you eventually. It's only a matter of time. Naruto didn't pursue. He rocketed toward the cave instead, using repulsor-enhanced strikes to blast through the rock and reach the extraction chamber. He found Gaara's body lying on the cave floor, the one tail fully extracted, his chest still. No! Naruto breathed, kneeling beside his friend. No, no, no! Gaara, stay with me! Chio, having defeated Sasori with Sakura's help, entered the chamber. She looked at Gaara's still form and made a decision that would cost her everything. Stand back, she said quietly. There's one technique that might save him. The jutsu took time, concentration, and ultimately, Chio's own life force. She transferred her remaining vitality to Gaara, reviving him at the cost of her own existence. As she faded, her final words were for Gaara. Live well, Kazekage. Protect your village, and remember, we old ones sometimes make mistakes, but the young can always set things right. Gaara awakened to find Naruto and the others surrounding him, tears streaming down some of their faces. He was alive, but at a terrible cost. Chio-sama. Gaara whispered, seeing her still form. She saved you, Naruto said, his voice thick with emotion. She gave everything so you could live. Gaara wept then, perhaps the first true tears he'd shed since Naruto had first taught him what it meant to be valued. And Naruto wept with him, mourning the loss of a brave woman who'd sacrificed everything for the next generation. The journey back to Sunagakure was somber. They'd succeeded in saving Gaara, but the cost had been high. And the Akatsuki had proven they were willing and able to extract Bijou, which meant every Jinchuriki was in immediate danger. They're going to come for me next, Naruto said to Kakashi during the return journey. And when they do, they'll come in force. Then we'll be ready, Kakashi said. You're not alone, Naruto. You have your team, your village, your armor, and your allies across the nations. The Akatsuki may be strong, but we're stronger together. Naruto hoped his former sensei was right. Because if the Akatsuki could take down Gaara, one of the most powerful Jinchuriki alive, then the coming battles would test everyone to their absolute limits. The war for the Bijou had begun, and Naruto stood at its center, armed with technology, backed by allies, partnered with a Bijou, and determined to protect everyone he cared about. No matter the cost. Epilogue. The Arc of Tomorrow. 5 years after the Akatsuki War, As historians would later call it, Naruto Uzumaki stood on the roof of the Hokage Tower, looking out over Kanehigakure. The village had changed significantly in those years, and much of that change bore his fingerprints. Chakra tech had become integrated into daily life. Street lights powered by miniature arc reactors illuminated the roads. Communication devices allowed instant contact between ninja teams. Medical facilities featured advanced diagnostic systems that had reduced mortality rates by 40%. The village's defensive barriers, powered by the network system, could activate in seconds rather than minutes. But the most visible change was the people themselves. Ninja of all ranks wore various pieces of chakra tech equipment, enhanced kunai launchers, chakra-amplifying gloves, defensive barrier generators. The technology hadn't replaced traditional ninja skills. Instead, it had enhanced them, allowed for new combinations of technique and innovation. Not everyone had embraced the changes. Some traditionalists still grumbled about the corruption of the ninja way. But even they had to admit, when the Akatsuki had launched their final assault, attempting to capture all the remaining bija at once, it was the combination of traditional skills and modern technology that had turned the tide. The battle had been apocalyptic. All Akatsuki members, led by the mysterious masked man calling himself Tobi and supported by the resurrected Uchiha Madara, had attacked simultaneously. Jinchuriki across the nations had been targeted, and only the coordinated defense strategy that Naruto had helped establish saved them. Naruto himself had faced Tobi in single combat. The masked man's space-time jutsu had made him nearly untouchable, but Naruto's armor, constantly analyzing and adapting, had eventually found the weakness. A precisely timed repulsor blast, fired at the exact moment Tobi had to become solid to attack, had struck home. The reveal of Tobi's identity as Obito Uchiha, Kakashi's thought-dead teammate, had been devastating. But the defeat of the Akatsuki had secured peace, at least temporarily. Still brooding up here? Naruto turned to find Ino approaching, her hand resting protectively on her pregnant belly. She was 6 months along, and they'd already decided on names, Minato if a boy, Kushina if a girl. Not brooding, Naruto said, smiling. Reflecting. There's a difference. Ino joined him at the railing. You know, when I first met you at the academy, I never imagined we'd end up here. You, the village hero and director of the most influential research organization in the ninja world. Me, your wife, and about to be the mother of your child. It's like something out of a story. A story with a lot of explosions and near-death experiences. Naruto added. Those two. Ino leaned against him, and Naruto wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Have you given any more thought to Tsunade's offer? The offer in question was retirement. Tsunade, now in her 60s and feeling her age, wanted to step down as Hokage. She'd been grooming Kakashi as her successor, but she'd also made it clear that Naruto would be the 6th Hokage after Kakashi's eventual term. I don't know if I'm ready, Naruto admitted. Being Hokage was always the dream, but now that it's actually within reach, I'm not sure I can balance it with the foundation work, with being a father, with everything else. You don't have to do it all yourself, Ino reminded him. That's what having support means. Kakashi will be Hokage first, which gives you time to prepare. The Foundation has an entire staff now, you can delegate more. And as for being a father, she smiled warmly. You're going to be amazing at that. You'll give our child everything you never had, and that's going to make all the difference. What if I screw up? The question came out quieter than Naruto intended. Then you fix it. That's what you've always done. Ino took his hand, intertwining their fingers. Naruto, you've built armor that can channel the power of the 9 tails. You've created technology that's revolutionizing how ninja operate. You've helped forge alliances between nations that were enemies for decades. You can handle being a dad and eventually being Hokage. Naruto squeezed her hand, drawing strength from her presence. You're right. And I won't be doing it alone. I've got you, Kurama, the Foundation team, all our friends. Exactly. Now come on, we're supposed to meet Sakura and Sasuke for dinner. You know how Sakura gets when we're late. They walked together through the village, greeting people as they passed. Naruto noticed how different the reactions were from his childhood, where once there had been fear and hatred, now there was respect and genuine affection. Children waved at him, asking to see his armor. Shopkeepers offered discounts. Even elderly civilians who'd lived through the Nine Tails attacks smiled and nodded in acknowledgement. It still feels surreal sometimes, Naruto said as they walked. Being accepted like this. You earned it, Ino said simply. Every scar, every battle, every innovation, you proved yourself 100 times over. The village would be foolish not to acknowledge that. Dinner with Sasuke and Sakura was surprisingly pleasant. The Uchiha had come a long way from the revenge-obsessed teenager he'd once been. His relationship with Sakura had developed slowly, cautiously, but genuinely. They weren't married yet, but everyone could see it was only a matter of time. Heard you're working on a new armor model, Sasuke said, his tone carefully casual. The Mark XX? Mark XX Sai, actually. Naruto corrected. The XX is already in field testing. The XX Sai is going to be the first model designed specifically for other users. Smaller Arc Reactor, more intuitive interface, modular design that can be customized based on the user's fighting style. Planning to mass-produce these? Sakura asked. Eventually, in limited numbers, Naruto said. The Foundation's mission is protection, not proliferation. We'll provide armor systems to elite ninja who can be trusted with that kind of power, but we're not handing them out to anyone who asks. Probably wise, Sasuke said. I've seen what happens when powerful technology falls into the wrong hands. The Akatsuki would have been even more dangerous if they'd had access to your armor. Speaking of the Akatsuki, Sakura said, her medical mean instincts making her change the subject to something less dark. How's Gaara doing? I heard Suna's been implementing some of the Foundation's defensive systems. He's doing well, Naruto reported. Being Kazekage suits him. And yeah, Suna's been one of our best partners. They've got natural talent with wind-based chakra manipulation, which combines really well with the repulsor technology. The conversation flowed naturally, touching on missions, village gossip, and plans for the future. When Naruto mentioned that Ino was pregnant, Sakura squealed with excitement and immediately began discussing baby preparations, medical care, and all the things that made Naruto's head spin. You're going to be a father, Sasuke said quietly while the women talked. How does that feel? Terrifying, Naruto admitted. But also, right somehow. Like this is what I've been working toward all along. Not just being acknowledged, but having a family of my own. People who depend on me, who I can protect and love without reservation. You'll be a good father, Sasuke said, and coming from the usually stoic Uchiha, it was high praise. Better than most. You know what not to do, and more importantly, you know what a child needs to thrive. Thanks, team. That actually means a lot. Don't mention it, though. They parted ways after dinner, Naruto and Ino heading home while Sasuke walked Sakura to her apartment. As they walked through the quiet streets, Ino suddenly stopped. Naruto, do you ever think about what might have been? If you hadn't found that workshop, if you never built the armor? Naruto considered the question seriously. Sometimes. I probably would have still become a ninja, still fought to be acknowledged, but it would have been harder, taken longer. The armor gave me an edge, but more than that, it gave me a purpose beyond just proving everyone wrong. It let me help people in ways traditional ninja techniques couldn't. Do you have any regrets? About the armor? No. About how I used it sometimes, maybe. There were times I could have been smarter, more careful. But overall, I think I've done more good than harm. He pulled Ino close. And if building the armor somehow led to us being together, then it was worth every struggle. Smooth talker, Ino teased, but she was smiling. They reached their apartment, but before going in, Naruto looked up at the Hokage monument, where the faces of past Hokages watched over the village. Someday, his face would be up there. The thought no longer seemed impossible or even distant, it felt inevitable, a natural progression of the path he'd been walking. I'm going to do it, he said suddenly. After Kakashi's term, when Tsunade officially nominates me, I'm going to accept. I'm going to become Hokage. I know, Ino said, kissing his cheek. I've always known. Now come inside. Our future isn't just about you being Hokage, it's about us being a family. And that starts with getting a good night's sleep before our baby decides to start kicking again. Naruto laughed, following her inside. The apartment was filled with reminders of their life together, photographs from missions and dates, blueprints for new armor models, Ino's flower arrangements, and the countless small touches that made a house a home. In the workshop corner, the latest armor prototype sat on its stand, powered down but ready. The Mark XXI gleamed under the room's soft lighting, a testament to how far Naruto had come from that first crude prototype built in the hidden Uzumaki workshop. Hey, Kurama, Naruto thought, reaching out to the bijou within him. What is it, Kit? The fox's mental voice was warm, no longer the hostile presence it had once been. Just wanted to say thanks. For everything. For working with me, for believing in what we're trying to build, for being a partner instead of just a prisoner. Kurama was quiet for a moment. You gave me a choice, Naruto. You treated me like a person instead of a weapon. That's something I never expected from a human. So thank you as well. For showing me that not all humans are like the ones who sealed me away. We make a good team. We do. Now go to sleep. Your mate is giving you that look that means you're in trouble if you don't follow her to bed. Naruto grinned, recognizing the truth in Kurama's words. He powered down the workshop, checked the apartment's security systems, another Foundation innovation, and joined Ino in their bedroom. As he lay in bed, Ino curled against his side, Naruto reflected on the impossible journey that had brought him here. From a lonely orphan hated by his village to a respected ninja, loving husband, soon-to-be father, and future Hokage. From a boy who couldn't perform a simple clone jutsu to a man who'd revolutionized ninja technology and forged alliances across nations. The armor had been the catalyst, but it wasn't the source of his strength. That came from the people who believed in him, from his refusal to give up, from his determination to protect those he cared about. The Arc Reactor in his chest was powerful, but it was nothing compared to the strength that came from having people worth protecting. I love you, he whispered to Ino, who was already half asleep. Love you too, she murmured back. Now shut up and let me sleep. Naruto chuckled softly, closing his eyes. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The Foundation had 3 new projects starting, there was a diplomatic mission to Cloud Village in 2 weeks, and he promised to help Konohamaru with his training. But tonight, he was simply Naruto, husband, friend, and dreamer of impossible things. In his sealed space, Kurama watched over him with something like paternal affection. The kid had grown strong, had built something remarkable, and had proven that innovation and tradition could coexist. Whatever challenges lay ahead, and Kurama sensed there would be many, Naruto would face them with his usual stubborn determination and the support of those who loved him. The Arc Reactor hummed softly in the workshop, its blue-white glow a promise of power held in check, ready to be deployed in defense of all Naruto held dear. It was a symbol of his journey, a testament to his ingenuity, and a bridge between the past his ancestors had left behind and the future he was building for his child. Somewhere in the darkness, threats were surely gathering. The ninja world was never truly at peace for long. But for tonight, in this moment, there was only warmth, love, and the quiet satisfaction of a dream approaching fulfillment. Naruto Uzumaki, the Iron Ninja, slept peacefully, secure in the knowledge that whatever tomorrow brought, he would face it as he always had, with determination, innovation, and the unwavering belief that anyone could change their destiny. Because that was his ninja way. And his ninja way had never steered him wrong. The end.